The person he was most worried about was Yuan Ba. The person he was most worried about was Yuan Ba. As for Niu Dahai, Yuan Ling, and the others, they were still better off. After all, they were still in the Xianjin sect, and they were also official disciples. However, there was one thing that Long Fei was sure of. That was, Yuan Ba was not dead yet. The mission was still there, and he did not fail it. Yuan Ba was definitely still alive. If Yuan Ba died, then the mission would be deemed a failure. Long Fei thought, "Lubi, wait for me. If they dare to touch you, I will not let this matter rest." Long Fei said fiercely in his heart, Early morning. The Sword Tomb's exit door opened, and the assessment ended. The disciples in the hunting grounds started to leave the area, walking towards the Xianjian peak. Some disciples were filled with confidence, while some disciples were feeling dejected. After all, it was a sword beast, and not just anyone could kill it. The only mode was to form a team. Long Fei lined up and stood in the middle of the crowd. Suddenly, a familiar fragrance wafted into his nose. Poison Widow. Long Fei grinned as he turned to look. It really was a Poison Widow. It was just that the difference from yesterday was that there were 5 or 6 disciples standing beside the Poison Widow, and all of them were staring at Long Fei. Poison Widow glared at Long Fei with a face full of killing intent. "This is the kid." Before he could finish, a group of people surrounded him. One of the 2 patted Long Fei's shoulder. With a look of contempt, he said, "Brat, I heard that you're very arrogant." Long Fei smiled lightly. "It's not considered too arrogant. It's just normal arrogance." "Oh, you still dare to be arrogant in front of me? Do you know who I am?" The big-sized man opened his eyes wide, staring at Long Fei like an ox. Long Fei shook his head and said, "I really don't know about that. May I ask your name, Hero?" The sturdy man retracted his gaze, raised his hand, and slapped Long Fei hard. "I call you father." "Sai. Good boy, good son." Long Fei dodged slightly, easily dodging the slap, and laughed. "My son has already grown up. I really don't know." The sturdy man was enraged. "Brat, you are courting death." Long Fei laughed. "Does my son want to kill father?" The sturdy man roared. This time, he stretched his arms and hugged a bear. As long as he was hugged, his spine would be broken. His strength was quite strong. However, not waiting for him to rush up, Long Fei slightly lifted his right leg. Pah! Crack! A crisp sound of an egg breaking came from the burly man's crotch. It was both of them. Both of his legs pinched together, and his body slowly withered down. His face was flushed red, and his eyes were bloodshot as he looked at Long Fei. You. After a long while, you still couldn't say a single word. The Poison Widow's eyes turned malevolent. "Trash, useless trash. Everyone forward." The corner of Long Fei's mouth lifted slightly and said, "He's my son. I won't kill him. If you guys dare to come up, then be careful." A cold snort. The other 5 immediately stopped and did not dare to move forward. Then he slowly stepped back. Women were important, but life was more important. The Poison Widow stared at Long Fei, gritting its teeth in hatred. "I won't let you off, just you wait." Long Fei said, "Be careful, you're all naked again." The Poison Widow was furious at the thought of what had happened yesterday. However, she knew that she wasn't a match for him, but she definitely wasn't someone who would give up so easily. There was still a chance. As long as he could enter the Xianjin sect, he would still have a chance. She had sufficient points to enter the Xianjin sect. At that time, the Poison Widow thought to herself, "Brat, in the future, I have plenty of time to play with you. Just wait patiently for me." Half an hour later, Long Fei returned to the outer sect training grounds of the Xianjin Peak. the entire martial arts practice field was also surrounded by people. Among these people were those who failed yesterday and many outer court disciples. Long Fei looked left and right and did not find Yuan Ling and Niu Dahai. His heart sank. Could it be that what Zhou Tianyan said is true? They really fell into the hands of the Zhou family? Zhang Xian panicked. However, there was someone who was even more anxious than him. Chen Lihu. He stood on the stage and looked left and right, but he could not see Zhou Tianyan returning. None of the 300 disciples that were there to maintain order had returned. Why is that? According to the time, they should have returned long ago. These were 300 disciples, an elite. Even if he was the great elder of the outer sect, he couldn't afford to take on this crime. Chen Lihu's heart sank even deeper. At this moment, a disciple whispered into Chen Lihu's ear. Chen Lihu's pupils suddenly shrank, and his gaze turned to follow that disciple's gaze, immediately noticing Long Fei. Is he still alive? Chen Lihu's eyes turned sinister. Did Zhou Tianyan and the rest not make a move? At this time, Zhou Yuanhe also could not sit still. He had been waiting for Zhou Tianyan to return from the backstage. Compared to Chen Lihu, he was even more anxious because only he knew about the Thunder Dragon Temple's secret treasure. If that was the case. But now, Zhou Tianyan had not returned for so long. Why was this so? Wu Haowu said indifferently, "Clan leader Zhou, don't worry, I will be back." Whoosh! An elder who was flying on his sword descended and said to Chen Lihu, "We didn't see them. We didn't see their figures in the entire hunting grounds." What? Chen Lihu's voice was like thunder. His face immediately became livid. "You didn't see it? Could it be that the human world has been steamed?" The audience went silent. I don't know what happened. However, they were all waiting for the results of the test and didn't care about anything else. Time's up, right? Can you check the results and determine the ranking? Yeah. Everyone's here. Can we begin? What the hell are you doing? Everyone wanted to know their ranking as soon as possible, just like how they wanted to know their score after an examination. Chen Lihu did not pay any attention to him and walked towards the backstage in large strides. Looking at Zhou Yuanhe and Wu Haowu, he said, "Zhou Yuntian brought 300 disciples and disappeared without a trace." What? What's going on? The two of them stood up at the same time. Zhou Yuanhe's expression changed. He took a step forward and looked at Chen Lihu, then said, "Elder Chen, this is not a joke. Tianyan is a cultivator with the War Master Ream. He would definitely not disappear." Baidu's sister-in-law, a half. Floating life strongest upgrade system Chen Lihu's brows tightly knitted together as he faintly said, "The brat you wanted to kill, he returned safe and sound." Huh. Zhou Yuanhe's expression turned sinister as he suddenly recalled what Yuan Ling said last night. What if Long Fei kills them all? These words suddenly came to mind. A chill came over him. Chapter 3, Recommended Friends Book, The CEO's Personal Security, written by Fan Chen Tian, 8_8419/2356600. The Zhou family did not return. The Zhou family did not return. Long Fei is back. Zhou Yuanhe had to stop thinking about this. Wu Haowu glanced at Zhou Yuanhe and said, "Clan leader Zhou, there is no need to be too worried. Even if that brat came back, it would not mean that Zhou Tianyan is dead." "I see. Elder Chen, you check the results of the exam. I will go to the hunting grounds and wait for me to come back." Chen Lihu immediately said, "All right, I will leave everything to Clan Elder Wu." Wu Haowu's sword moved, riding on the sword, and flew, quickly disappearing. Zhou Yuanhe fell to the ground and muttered, "Definitely not possible." Chen Lihu once again returned to the stage and said slightly, "Next, we will begin the assessment of our results. Those disciples walked forward one after another to take out the sword beast they had hunted, and then began to count their names. Long Fei stood in the middle of the crowd and continuously looked left and right, but he still did not see Yuan Ling and Niu Dahai. Could something have really happened? In another place, at the foot of the Xianjian Peak. I'm late. Sigh. It's all my fault. Niu Dahai said, while blaming himself. At this moment, his face was still very pale, and his body was incomparably weak. S-kick and Chen Lihu's palm strike had almost taken his life. He had to live to thank the large amount of fat on his body. If it wasn't for the fat blocking some of the force, he really would have burped. Niu Dahai said, Junior sister apprentice Yuan Ling, don't worry about me. Go and look for him in the Xianjian Peak first. See if boss has returned. If Pa. The boss must have returned alive. Niu Dahai did not continue. Yuan Ling asked, Can you do it by yourself? Niu Dahai supported himself with a walking stick and said, No problem. Yuan Ling did not stay any longer and immediately ran in the direction of the Xianjian Peak. Whether or not Long Fei passed the examination, she would make Long Fei leave or not. If Long Fei was in Xianjian Peak, then he would be in even more danger. Zhou Yuanhe would not let him go. Chen Lihu would not. The three of them were already lawless outside of the sect. Long Fei was only one person. Yuan Ling used all of his strength to run up. Halfway up the mountain, the two of them blocked her path. It was the Zhou family. Furthermore, the two of them were even inner disciples, so their cultivation were above Yuan Ling. Junior sister apprentice Yuan Ling, come with us, a disciple said. Yuan Ling's face turned cold as he looked at the two of them. Suddenly, he moved his body and fiercely charged forward. However, without even waiting for her to rush over, she was struck back with a palm, heavily smashing into the cliff wall, causing Yuan Ling to vomit out a mouthful of blood. You're asking for trouble. With your cultivation, you still dare to act rashly in front of us? You're looking to die. Finished. A disciple walked forward, grabbed Yuan Ling's head, and fiercely smashed it, causing Yuan Ling to be knocked back into the stone wall once more. Yuan Ling's eyes started to blur before finally fainting. I'll go find that fat cow. Bring her back to the Zhou family. The clan leader has ordered that no one is to touch her without him. Understood. The two of them walked in separate directions. Lu Russian, 13 sword beast, points 13 points. Zhou Yao, 20 sword beast, 20 points. Wang Tian Chao, 9 heads of sword beast, 9 points. Martial arts arena continued. Long Fei did not wait for Yuan Ling and Niu Dahai to appear, and the anxiety in his heart immediately turned into rage. Zhou family. Next. Is the next person deaf? Long Fei's expression changed. His eyes flashed with killing intent as he stared at the disciple who just spoke. The man and Long Fei looked at each other for half a second, and immediately did not dare look at him, and said softly, The next one is going to anger you. Long Fei walked forward and quickly brought out the sword beast he had hunted, one after another. In less than half a minute, a large number of them slowly gathered, like a small mountain. The statisticians were extremely shocked. Everyone in the plaza was also incomparably shocked. Who is this kid? How did he hunt so many sword beasts? Damn, is he even human? Immediately, a flurry of discussions broke out. Chen Lihu slightly narrowed his eyes as he looked at Long Fei with a heavy gaze and thought to himself, Kid, do you really have the strength to kill 300 disciples? The results were announced very quickly. 330 sword beast, 33 points, broke the record set by Zhou Tianyu last year. Congratulations, junior brother. Now you can say that you have a 100% chance of entering the Xianjian sect. Ha! Long Fei smiled lightly and asked softly, "Senior fellow apprentice, can I ask you something?" The disciple very politely replied, "Go ahead." Since Long Fei was able to break the record, no matter what his results were, he would be rewarded and get the attention of the elders. As long as he had a good relationship with Long Fei, there would definitely be benefits. Long Fei asked, "Why didn't I see senior sister Yuan Ling and senior fellow apprentice Niu Dahai?" The disciple went closer to Long Fei and whispered, "The two of them were punished yesterday. Each of them got 100 spirit rods and were beaten until their skin and flesh split. I think they are still lying at home." No one knew anything about the events of the night. "Beat? Why are you being punished?" Long Fei asked again. The disciple glanced at Chen Lihu in the distance and said with an even lower voice, he offered to bribe Elder Chen to stop the exam. "It seems they want a person to give up the examination. I'm not too sure about the specifics." Long Fei remained calm and said, "Thank you, senior fellow apprentice." Then Long Fei walked to the side and thought, 100 sticks. Niu Dahai is still fine, but Yuan Ling, how can a woman's small body hold up against him? At the same time, Long Fei looked at Chen Lihu, who was on the stage from the corner of his eyes. Chen Lihu was also looking at him. Long Fei saw a strong killing intent in his eyes, and his own eyes also carried a cold killing intent as he muttered, "This matter isn't over yet." Suddenly, a shadow fell from the sky. Wu Haowu returned. He landed on the stage and spoke to Chen Lihu in a low voice. "All dead." Boom! Chen Lihu was unable to stand properly. His body staggered, and he almost fell to the ground. "There are 300 people here. How is that possible?" Wu Haowu continued. "They were all struck by an incomparably strong bolt of lightning, and then he turned into black charcoal and will break into pieces if he touches it." In the hunting grounds, he had seen more than 200 black carbon sculptures. He couldn't believe his own eyes. However, from their appearances, they seemed to be the outer sect disciples of the Xianjian sect. Chen Lihu muttered, "What do we do? What should we do?" The death of 300 outer sect elites was a crime he could not afford. Wu Haowu was also involved in this matter, and even he himself knew that he was involved. He stared at Long Fei with an ice-cold gaze and said slightly, "Didn't you get a witness yesterday?" The 4th chapter recommends a friend's book, The Supreme and Strong Young Master of the Campus. Like to support 8_8419/2356601. Chen Lihu raised his eyes and said, "He is only a war chief realm cultivator. Even if he said that he was killed by him, there must be someone who believed him. Those are at least 300 people." Chen Lihu raised his eyes and said, "He is only a war chief realm cultivator. Even if he said that he was killed by him, there must be someone who believed him. Those are at least 300 people. Moreover, there's a Zhou Tianyun with a war master ream." Wu Haowu thought for a moment, then said, "The sect master detected a trace of devil energy 2 nights ago, so we can say that he is a disciple of the devil sect." Huh! Chen Lihu's eyes turned sinister. The corners of his mouth lifted, and he laughed sinisterly. Devil sect disciple. This was the most reasonable explanation. Only the disciples of the devil sect could help him get rid of his guilt. Evil. It was extremely dangerous. Although Zhou Yuantong did not hear the entire conversation, hearing the news of the deaths of 300 disciples, he almost fainted. Of the 3 proud grandsons, 2 had died. Zhou Yuanhe was going crazy in his heart. And then he instructed a Zhou family disciple. He quietly went down the mountain. Long Fei would not let him have it easy, and he would definitely not let Long Fei have it easy either. At this time, He believed that Yuan Ling, Niu Dahai had been captured by him and wanted to kill them. In another place, in a grave. Niu Dahai climbed back up with much difficulty, looked at the vanished Zhou family disciples, and said disdainfully, "Little brat, you still want to catch me? Dream on." Niu Dahai was very pleased with himself. Other than him, no one else in Xianjian's sect was his match. Suddenly, "This is bad." Niu Dahai's expression became anxious. Something must have happened to junior sister apprentice Yuan Ling. If that's the case, the boss must still be alive. Holy SH**T. Zhou Qianyun's 300 outer sect disciples can't be real. Looking at the incredibly steep Xianjian peak, he gritted his teeth and said, "If that's the case, then boss is too dangerous. The Zhou family, Chen Lihu, Wu Hao will never let him go. Lord Fatty is risking his life. Boss, please don't let anything happen to him. Please don't let anything happen to him. Yuan Ling and Yuan Ba are still waiting for you to save them." The fatty supported his 250 kilograms of body as he madly rushed forward. It was a charge. Half an hour later, the results of the 10,000 disciples had been tallied. The top 1,000 had been tallied. No doubt about it, Long Fei took first place. He now had the qualifications to become a disciple of the Xianjian sect and had passed the examination. However, he was curious about one thing. He didn't think of the system beep. The assessment mission should have ended, but the mission was not completed. Why was that? Long Fei was very confused. I should be able to complete the mission. I got first place and obtained the Sword Saint's legacy. So logically speaking, I should be able to get a grade of S grade for this mission. I should be able to get a special reward from Yuan Ling, but don't tell me that we have to see Yuan Ling to activate the mission. At this time, the martial arts arena was in an uproar. I am now a disciple of Xianjian sect. I passed the examination. I'm going to be glorious. Countless people laughed, cried, and hugged each other in celebration, just like in his previous life when he was studying in some famous university. But Long Fei didn't feel anything. There was no joy at all because Yuan Ling was not here. He did not see the smile on Yuan Ling's face. In the inner sect, Elder Ruoshui said faintly, "The outer sect examination results are out. Let's go take a look as well." What's there to look at? Didn't you see it yesterday? We are all a group of disciples who do not have much talent, so I think it would be best for us not to waste any time. Exactly. Let's think about how we'll be able to unleash this sword technique with even greater power. Ro Shui was the female elder who was in the air above the sword tomb yesterday. Last night, she had been thinking about Long Fei and felt that Long Fei seemed to have comprehended something at that moment. Shui said with a gentle smile, "3 senior fellow apprentices, please accompany me on my trip. Let's go. I promise you all, when I come back, I will study this sword technique seriously." The 3 elders sighed. "I really admire you." The 4 of them rode on their swords, and in the blink of an eye, they had arrived in the air above the outer court martial arts practice field. Martial arts arena was boiling. She quickly found Long Fei's figure and muttered to herself, "He really passed the examination." Chen Lihu said with a smile, "Congratulations to these 1,000 disciples. Their hard work in cultivating these past few years has not been in vain, and at the same time, don't be disheartened by those who have failed the selection. After a year, you guys will become stronger and then come for the examination." Now, Chen Lihu slightly said, "Please bring up the disciples who are ranked in the top 10 to receive their prizes. 10th place, Lu Rafeng. 9th place, Shou Yu." He called them up one by one. Behind the smile was a sinister look. He said loudly, First place create Xianjian sect's history, 330 sword beast, 330 points. We welcome him with the warmest of applause. Long Fei. Under the gazes of tens of thousands of people, Long Fei walked towards the stage. Ro Shui was shocked. It's him. 330 points. Isn't this result a bit too terrifying? My God. Back then, I only got 180 points. This kid. How did he do it? The three inner court elders were all shocked. 330 points was a very terrifying existence. It was simply not something a human could do. Suddenly, outside the martial arts practice field, a hand that had been chubby the entire time climbed the stairs with one hand. The cane in his hand suddenly moved. His entire body was drenched in sweat, and his clothes were drenched in sweat. He stood up with much difficulty and became angry at the pubes. This was his last sliver of true chi. Boom, boom, boom. Long Fei stopped and turned back quickly. At this moment, the two outer sect disciples immediately dragged Niu Dahai out. You're courting death. Long Fei was just one step away from the stage. As long as he could step up, he would be an official disciple of the Xianjian sect. However, he chose his brother. Moonlit step. Shua. With one step, Long Fei landed heavily on the ground, and in the blink of an eye, he was already at the entrance of the training grounds. Boom. Boom. Both fists shot out right and left, sending the two Zhou family disciples flying. Fatty Niu looked at Long Fei. He was so excited that tears were flowing out of his eyes as he cried, I almost couldn't see you again. Boss Wu. Snot and tears. Long Fei helped Niu Dahai up. Looking at the injuries on his body, the anger in his heart surged like gasoline. 8_8419/2356602. Such a handsome middle finger. Such a handsome middle finger. Everyone was shocked, and the entire arena quieted down. None of them knew what the middle finger meant. Chen Li, who also did not know, but he felt that Long Fei was ignoring him, frowned and shouted angrily, Brat, you dare to ignore an elder? If I don't teach you a lesson today, you would really think that my Xianjian sect is a vegetarian. He couldn't let Long Fei leave. Before long, the news of the deaths of 300 disciples would spread. He had to pull someone down with him, and Long Fei was the best choice. Chun Li who roared and rushed out like a fierce tiger. It locked onto Xiang Long Fei's throat with its two fingers. Niu Dahai shouted loudly, Boss, be careful. Long Fei's right hand moved. As long as Chun Li Hu hurried over, he would take out the dragon salyer and hack him to death. It was also at this moment. Buzz. An ear-piercing sword hum resounded. Shua. A sword that was like water plummeted down, blocking right in front of Chun Li Hu, knocking him back several steps. Ro Shui floated down like an immortal, her sword floating beside her. She said lightly, Elder Chen, it's not good for you to kill me without asking questions, right? Chun Li Hu's face changed. The person standing in front of him was an inner sect elder, and his attainment in the way of the sword was very high as well. The sect head held him in high regard. At this time, Wu Hao flew up and said with a respectful smile, Junior sister apprentice Lu Shui, this disciple is disrespectful to the elders even before entering Xianjian sect. Elder Chen only wants to teach him a lesson. After all, there are so many disciples here to select him. Chun Li Hu immediately followed. That's right. I was also doing it for the dignity of the Xianjian sect. Gentle Water said, even if it's just a lesson, there's no need to go all out, right? Chun Li Hu said, I was too angry just now and did not control my strength well. This is my fault. I am willing to be punished, but he cannot leave the Xianjian peak. You're right. Wu Hao then continued. He killed 330 sword beasts and took first place. This is a record-breaking. For any normal warrior, this is a result that would cause them to be extremely happy, but he did not look the least bit happy. Furthermore, he said that he would leave. What is this Xianjian sect for? What did he take the examination for? Is this a joke? Or should I say, he doesn't place the Xianjian sect in his eyes at all? A large cesspool was pulled out. The surrounding disciples also began to discuss amongst themselves. Yeah, he doesn't seem happy at all. This brat is too arrogant, right? He actually doesn't put the Xianjian sect in his eyes. Then why did he come to take the examination? That's right, I don't think this kid is anything good. They all wanted to flatter the elders. Long Fei did not explain, nor did he want to explain anything. Rou Shui looked at Long Fei and walked forward and asked, "Do you have anything important to do?" At this time, you two elders are simply trying to kill Long Fei. You two have joined hands with the Zhou family to deal with him. Do you even have any face left? Chun Lihu's gaze darkened. He suddenly moved, and his leg kicked Niu Dahai's mouth. Bam! Niu Dahai spat out a mouthful of blood and flew a few meters away. Long Fei was instantly enraged. Niu Dahai revealed his bloody teeth as he laughed wildly, saying, "What? It must be hard for you to be exposed, right? You should have killed me last night." Chun Lihu's killing intent rose, and he attacked again. The killing intent from Long Fei became extremely cold. However, he could not allow Long Fei to make a move. If Long Fei made a move, then he was truly finished. Immediately, Rou Shui whispered, "Leave it to me." His figure blurred, and in an instant, he arrived beside Chun Lihu and shouted, "Elder Chun, what are you trying to do?" Chun Lihu said in an aggressive manner, spitting out blood and slandering the elders, "As the great elder of the outer sect, I have the authority to teach him a lesson." Such authority. Shwa, shwa. The three inner sect elders descended from the sky and landed beside Rou Shui. They disdainfully sneered and said, "A mere outer sect grand elder dares to come and teach a disciple a lesson without going through the law enforcement hall. Who gave you the right?" Chun Lihu's face darkened. Niu Dahai continued, "The two of them have teamed up with the Zhou family to deal with Long Fei. Chun Lihu has accepted the bribes from the Zhou family and asked the 300 disciples to maintain the order. When did it become necessary for the other 300 disciples to do so? He is letting these 300 people deal with Long Fei. And him." Niu Dahai pointed at Wu Haowu and said, "Last night, junior sister apprentice Yuan Ling, and I requested to see the sect master, but he stopped us at the door. He lied and said that he could stop the Zhou family from attacking Long Fei. So I gave all of my fire knife to him. Not only will he not stop me, he will also heavily injure me." The people from the Zhou family were even more daring and directly took junior sister apprentice Yuan Ling away. As soon as he finished, Long Fei's anger shot straight to the top of his head, his eyes bloodshot. Boom! Long Fei made a grasping motion in the air. The supreme artifact appeared on his right hand, and with a step, it directly stood in front of Chun Lihu and said gloomily, "Those who touch my brother, die." The dragon's salure moved. Boom! The bloody light and the saber chi rampaged out crazily. The entire audience was shocked. Rou Shui was extremely shocked. She quickly grabbed Long Fei and said, "Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything stupid. I will definitely give you justice." Long Fei was very strong. At the very least, the aura emitted from his body shocked Rou Shui greatly. She was sure Long Fei's talent must be very strong. This kind of disciple must definitely be protected. If Long Fei made a move against Chun Lihu, even she would not be able to protect herself. Niu Dahai also said, "Boss, I am fine." Quickly go and save Yuan Ling and the rest. The Zhou family will take action against them. Hurry up and go. If you go too late, I'm afraid junior sister apprentice Yuan Ling will. Now that there were 4 inner sect elders here, he believed that Chen Lihu would no longer dare to make a move against him. Long Fei clenched his fist and turned around to leave. However, Wu Haowu, who had not made a sound until now, took a step forward and blocked Long Fei's path and shouted, "You cannot leave. There are some things that you must clarify. How did you kill those 300 outer disciples? Are you a disciple of the devil sect?" He could not hide the fact that 300 disciples had died. He could only blame all of this on Long Fei, as the identity of a disciple of the devil sect was the best excuse. Long Fei coldly spat out one word, "Scram!" Wu Haowu sneered and said, "Did I see through your true identity? Speak, which devil sect are you from?" Long Fei's eyes turned sinister, his killing intent dense, one word at a time. "I say, you old brat, scram, far, far away." 360 search. Half floating / / equals. Wu Haowu's eyes turned sinister. "You're courting death." Long Fei was furious. "Let me see who is courting death." Anger arose in her heart. Whoosh Wong. Double stats activated. Chapter 6, the recommended friends book, City Game System. Like to support? Thank. 8_8419/23566603. He was enraged to the extreme. He was enraged to the extreme. The only thing that Long Fei wanted to do was to save Yuan Ling. After hearing what Fatty Nyo had to say, he felt extremely upset. He did not expect so many things to happen in a single day. At this moment, kill whoever blocks him. With the double attribute added in, the dragon salure in Long Fei's hand released waves after waves of angry dragon roars. The 2 inner court elders shouted, "Elder Wu, let him go." Wu Haowu said, "If he's gone, then he won't come back. At that time, 300 outer court disciples will die in vain. We cannot let him go. The demonic sect disciples are already bullying the Xianjian Peak. If we don't, not waiting for him to finish." The dragon salure in Long Fei's hands shook violently. "This father will bully this one today." Dragon salure technique. Skin open, bone cracking. In just 10% of a second, Dragon Salure S unleashed all 7 moves. Hurricane cut. Long Fei flew up into the air. His body moving, he appeared in the air, and the blood-like Dragon Salure in his hands violently struck down. Dragon Chop. 390 slashes. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk the saber energy danced wildly. The Dragon Salure was also wildly dancing. Long Fei's figure constantly moved like lightning. Boom. The last slash smashed Wu Haowu to the ground, causing him to fall down as well. One foot stepped on Wu Haowu's head and said sinisterly, "Please do not challenge this brother's patience." Finished. His right foot shook, and he exerted force. Pah! With one foot, Wu Haowu's head was stomped into the mud. However, it was a pity that he didn't kill him. It had to be said that Wu Haowu's defense was very strong. He could only deal half the damage from the dragon chop. He didn't die. Long Fei's heart turned sinister. His killing intent rose once again. His arms shook, and his muscles bulged. Splitting pulse technique. Boom. Asterisk, asterisk, boom. Asterisk, boom, boom. The earth rumbled, and a powerful counterforce attacked. After sending the half-dead Wu Haowu flying back, Long Fei moved his arms. Mountain hit fist. Bang, bang. 2 punches flew out. It sent Wu Haowu flying 100 meters away. However, not dead yet. Long Fei's heart tensed up. Just what defensive suit is he wearing? I'm going to kill him. It was also at this time the 2 inner sect elders by Ro Shui's side recovered and immediately stopped Long Fei and said, "This is Xianjian sect. I do not allow you to mess around. Brat, do you still want to get Yuan Ling alone? Do you still want to wash away this grievance? If you want to, then listen to me." "Stop," Ro Shui also anxiously said. "Long Fei, if you kill him, the consequences would be unthinkable. If you don't do it for yourself, you should also think it over for Niu Dahai. I will definitely help you to the end with this matter." She was liking this young man more and more. His talent was unimaginably high. Niu Dahai also followed. "Boss, you should go save junior sister apprentice Yuan Ling first. She needs you even more right now." Wu Haowu was already unconscious. He was completely stunned by Long Fei. He never expected that Long Fei would suddenly attack him, nor did he expect that Long Fei's strength would be terrifying to such an extent. Long Fei kept his dragon salure and turned to walk down the mountain. At this time, Chen Lihu said lightly, "Elder Ro Shui, what if he doesn't come back? Do you bear all the consequences?" Not waiting for Ro Shui to speak, Long Fei shouted loudly, "Don't worry, I will definitely come back to kill you." Chen Lihu's eyes turned cold. For some reason, fear welled up in his heart. He was suddenly afraid. However, the fear instantly disappeared, as this was the Xianjian sect, not a place where anyone could behave atrociously. Just a moment ago, Long Fei had heavily injured Wu Haowu. Chen Lihu went forward to help Wu Haowu up and said, "Elder Wu, I will bring you to be treated. You can't leave." Chen Lihu said, "He will return, and I will return as well. Elder Ro Shui, you can be at ease. I will definitely not let him get away with this by killing 300 of my outer court disciples. Only the disciples of the Devil Sect will do such a thing. I will absolutely not let the Devil Sect disciples be so presumptuous in our Xianjian sect." He supported Wu Haowu up and quickly fed him a healing pill. Wu Haowu woke up in a daze and said, "Go to the inner sect to find my big brother. Go quickly. As long as my big brother arrives, that bitch Ro Shui won't dare to be rash." "Long Fei, I must kill you." Wu Haowu's cultivation was not strong. The reason he could become an inner sect elder was not because of his cultivation, but because of his elder brother, Wu Haojian. As long as he appeared, nothing would be a problem. Chen Lihu immediately said, "I will go right now. Elder Wu, hold on." Wu Haowu replied, "Don't worry, I'm fine. Just go quickly and find my big brother." He was well aware of his injuries. If it weren't for the armor his big brother gave him, he would already be dead. And then there was Long Fei. He ran with all his might, charging straight for Zhou Town. At this moment, at the Zhou mansion, in a secret room, Zhou Yuanhe stared at the hanging Yuan Ba and coldly said, "You bastard, if I hadn't given you a bite to eat back then, you would have already starved to death on the streets. Now, you are helping outsiders deal with me? All right, very good." Zhou Yuanhe's eyes were cold and cruel. He said to the disciple beside him, "How is the preparation of the things I asked you to prepare?" That disciple walked up to him with an urn in his hand and said, "Patriarch, that thing is inside." Zhou Yuanhe opened the bottle and took a look, then sneered, "Very good. This blood corpse king worm was developed by me after 10 years. You still don't know? From the moment I first laid eyes on you, I felt that there was God power in your body. You have a perfect body, the body of a king of blood corpse. King of blood corpse will make you stronger. Ha ha." Zhou Yuanhe's eyes turned, and he said, "Put him down. I want to refine him into a blood corpse. You want to leave my Zhou family? From the day you entered the gate of the Zhou family, you are a dog of the Zhou family. Right now you are, and will be even in your next life." Yuan Ba stared at him, staring straight at Zhou Yuanhe. Even until now, there was no resentment in his eyes, and there was even a hint of gratitude in his gaze. To him, the favor of eating a meal was the favor of eating a meal. There was nothing else. Zhou Yuanhe laughed coldly. It was you who opened your mouth? Or do you want me to? Yuan Ba closed his eyes and opened his mouth. Zhou Yuanhe laughed. A dog is still a dog. What an obedient dog. Put the blood corpse king in his mouth. Long Fei, didn't you want this dog? Then I'll let him deal with you. Ha ha ha. Since you killed my grandson, I will definitely repay this debt with 100 times the power. Zhou Yuanhe looked at the huge blood corpse king, worm crawling into Yuan Ba's mouth, and laughed maniacally. A few minutes later, Zhou Town, in front of the Zhou Mansion's gate, Long Fei dragged his dragon salyer and roared, Zhou Yuanhe, get the hell out here. Chapter 7, a book about recommending friends. Author 6, Wu Chun, support those who like it. Today was the 7th chapter. There were no more manuscripts. Recently, he had been trying to rush the script to get sick. Now, he had a severe cold and felt very uncomfortable. 8_8419/2356604. Rumble, rumble. Fury like thunder. The killing intent that diffused from Long Fei's body was incomparably thick. Who dares to behave so atrociously in the Zhou mansion? Kid, I think you're tired of living. Kill him. The two sect guards immediately rushed forward, their swords striking Xiang Longfei. Without even looking at it, the dragon salyer moved. Shua, shua. The gatekeeper was instantly killed. Ding, ding. The two-system beepers sounded out. Fresh blood splattered onto Long Fei's face. With one hand holding the dragon salyer, he was like a god of death. Who is it? Dog, do you know where this is? 6 disciples of the Zhou family ran out, unsheathed their swords, and attacked Xiang Longfei at the same time. The dragon salyer in Long Fei's hand hacked down. The two of them were instantly killed, blood spurting out from their mouths. The faces of the remaining 4 paled as they continuously retreated. One of them shouted, Quick, quick, report this to the clan leader. He continued to retreat. In about half a minute, more than 10 disciples of the Zhou family were gathered in front of Long Fei because the aura Long Fei was releasing was simply too terrifying. They were crushed to the point that they couldn't even breathe. Long Fei shook violently and roared again, Zhou Yuanhe, you old thing, get the hell out here right now. Boom. Who dares to be so arrogant? A flying sword shot out, shooting at the center of Xiang Longfei's brows. A figure followed closely behind. Grand Elder, Zhou Hai. Ha ha ha. Great Clan Elder is an expert of the War Master Ream. This brat will definitely suffer. Let's see how he can still act so arrogantly then. You are courting death for you to behave so atrociously in the Zhou family. The sounds of discussion were not finished yet, and Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. Moonlit step. Shua. Rushing straight up into the air, he looked down from above, wielding his blade with both hands and chopping down like a battle axe. The blood-red sword aura from the dragon's salyer slashed through the air. Crack! The flying sword broke into 2 pieces and fell from the sky. The figure did the same. A human head tumbled down from the air, its eyes as wide as an ox's. It didn't even know how it died, and its pupils were filled with fear. Long Fei landed heavily, stepped on his head, and roared again. Zhou Yuanhe, hand over this daddy's woman and brothers. Crack! Brain matter burst out, splattering in all directions. The surroundings instantly became incomparably silent. Was he even human? An expert of the first level of War Master was killed in a single strike. He was simply not a human. Higher! A mournful cry rang out, and in the next moment, the silhouette of an ash wolf appeared. Zhou Yuanhe, the Zhou clan, head was also the strongest expert of the Zhou clan. Zhou Hai was his son. Looking at the spot where his son had disappeared, the anger in his heart burned frantically, and his gaze was as cold as ice. He stared at Long Fei and said solemnly, "You will die, you will definitely die." First the two gifted grandsons, now his sons. The white man sent the black man. He had suffered such pain 3 times in the span of a few days, and all of them had died at the hands of a single person. The anger in his heart could be imagined. Don't talk nonsense with Laozi. Hand Yuan Ling over. Hand Yuan Ba over, and I will not pursue the rest of the matters. Long Fei did not want to bicker with Zhou Yuanhe. He was only worried for Yuan Ling and Yuan Ba. Zhou Yuanhe said coldly, "You want them, right?" "Sure. Drag that woman out." As soon as his voice faded, 2 disciples of the Zhou family dragged Yuan Ling out. Yuan Ling's entire body was wounded, his head was bleeding, his face was swollen. It was clear that he was beaten up. When Yuan Ling saw Long Fei, he smiled lightly at first, but then shouted weakly, "Long Fei, quickly, quickly, quickly!" He. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly. The key sound was released, his entire body releasing a blazing aura, his aura ignited with anger. He looked at Yuan Ling and gently said, "I will bring you out of here immediately. I will bring you out immediately." A girl as beautiful as Yuan Ling was tormented to this extent. Even if Long Fei's temper was any better, he wouldn't be able to tolerate it at this moment. Zhou Yuanhe laughed coldly. "You like her, right? She's important to you, isn't she?" While speaking, his voice suddenly changed. "Long Fei, kneel down. Otherwise, I'll kill her immediately." The 2 disciples of the Zhou family suddenly moved. Both swords rested on Yuan Ling's neck. They looked at Long Fei with contempt, and both of them spoke at the same time. "You dog, kneel down." Yuan Ling's tears rolled in her eyes as she shook her head and said, "No, no, no." A woman's tears were Long Fei's fatal injury. He couldn't help but think of Lu Luoxi's tears. It made him think about the scene of Hong Tianjun stomping him down. This made him think of the scene of Lu Luoxi kneeling to Hong Tianjun. Ah! Long Fei roared towards the sky. He turned and stared coldly at Zhou Yuanhe. The violent killing intent was like a primordial beast that struck his mind. Zhou Yuanhe looked at Long Fei and burst out laughing. "Long Fei, is this great? Kneel." Long Fei let out a light breath. The anger, the killing intent seemed to have disappeared from his body in this moment, and he said slightly, "You want me to kneel down, right? All right. Kneel before your ancestors." Shua. When everyone was feeling extremely proud and thought that they could grab onto Long Fei's weakness, Long Fei's figure suddenly disappeared. Zhou Yuanhe frowned, then shouted out, "Kill her!" Crack! Crack! 2 heads flew into the air, and fresh blood sprayed out crazily from their necks. Those 2 disciples still stood there motionlessly. Even when their heads fell to the ground, they still stood there motionlessly. Long Fei squatted down, gently pushed the messy hair on Yuan Ling's forehead behind his ears, and gently comforted, it's fine, everything's fine." Puchi. Woo, woo, woo. At this moment, Yuan Ling could no longer control it. The defensive barrier in his heart had collapsed, and he threw himself into Long Fei's embrace and cried loudly. He cried his heart out. It made people's hearts ache with pain. She thought she was going to die. She was not afraid. Deep in her heart, she was afraid that Long Fei would die. All this time, she had always been very strong. She had always been working hard with all her might, facing any man coldly. She had always told herself that she must continue to be strong. After meeting Long Fei, her life had completely changed. She would be sad. She would worry. She would worry. She would become anxious. She would miss, and her mind would wander. What is this? She didn't even know it. Right now, She only wanted to throw herself into Long Fei's embrace and cry loudly. Long Fei lightly patted Yuan Ling's back and gently said, "Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. With me here, no one in this world can bully you." It was also at this moment the system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the test mission, for obtaining a reward of 10,000 experience points, 1,000 true chi, and 1,000 points. Ding! System evaluation. Equals semi/floating life plus. Ding! Congratulations to the player for obtaining an S-rank score. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward. The first chapter recommends a friend's book, Level Imitation Weapon King. Likes to support a little. Thank you. 8_8419/2356605. He's here. He's here. Hearing the system beep, Long Fei was a little excited. What would the special reward be? This was what he had always been hoping for. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining any woman's intimacy +1. Long Fei was a little confused. He did not understand and opened the system to look, reading each word, then becoming even more confused. Any woman's intimacy +1. Women in the whole world can obtain 1 point of intimacy just by seeing each other. What's the use of that? The system is F*** King Good, but I'm just messing around with it, right? Long Fei was immediately depressed. He had thought that he could get something good. I'm so disappointed. The intimacy was full at 100 points, so what stage was 1 point of intimacy? Ordinary stage. It was useless at all. More importantly, not only would his intimacy increase, it would decrease as well. In terms of language, any behavior that a woman did not like would decrease. Thus, even 1 point of intimacy was useless. That's not right. Just then, Long Fei felt that he was a little motionless, because after the special reward, the way Yuan Ling looked at him became different. View now. Discovering his and Yuan Ling's intimacy had already reached 90, which means to say, he had entered the stage where he could do whatever he wanted. Do whatever you want. Anything. Then, Long Fei looked at Yuan Ling and thought, it's about time for me to get rid of my virgin self, right? F***CK. What time is it? I'm still thinking about this. Long Fei scolded himself. Yuan Ling also shouted loudly, "Be careful!" Long Fei carried Yuan Ling and stood up, picking up the dragon salyer on the ground, then looked at Yuan Ling and said, "Wait for me here for a moment." It settled very quickly. Yuan Ling lightly nodded like a blissful little woman. Long Fei watched and laughed, then retreated, dragging the dragon salyer with him as he chopped down, splitting a disciple into 2 halves. He stood there heavily, like a war god, firmly protecting Yuan Ling behind him. "Zhou Yuanhe, where's my brother Yuan Ba?" Long Fei looked at Zhou Yuanhe and said coldly, "Are you going to make me kneel again this time?" Zhou Yuanhe gritted his teeth until it made a cracking sound. "Long Fei, are you trying to find that dog, Yuan Ba? If you want to look for it, I won't allow you to kill them all. He won't be able to hold on for long." Zhou Yuanhe retreated a little, but he had already swallowed the blood corpse rushing king. The king of blood corpse would still need a little more time to control him. They would also be able to arouse the power within Yuan Ba's body. He needed to wait. Wait a minute. Facing clan leader Zhou Yuanhe, the Zhou family disciples did not dare disobey and rushed towards Xiang Longfei. Long Fei laughed coldly. "You touched my brother and hurt my woman. In your Zhou family, your father's actions today have been overturned." The dragon salyer withdrew. He moved his arms. His consumption of true chi was too fast, and he could no longer use it as he wished. He needed the true chi, so he could use the power of his own realm to kill all of these people. Bam! Releasing the power of a war chief level 6, he sent a person flying with a punch. Bang, bang, bang. Relying on his superiority in levels, as well as his rich combat experience, combined with his coquettish positioning in the game, Long Fei's punch landed on flesh. He continued to kill some of the disciples. It was carefree and carefree. In less than 10 minutes, dozens of disciples fell to the ground and remained motionless. The entire Zhou family was left with only a few people by Zhou Yuanhe's side. Zhou Yuanhe could not believe it. What kind of person was Long Fei? No matter who he was facing, no matter how strong or weak, he would strike with his full strength. If he could kill someone, he definitely wouldn't be crippled. Madman! He was completely a madman. Zhou Yuanhe's heart felt a wave of fear. He was also a War Master Ream cultivator, but he was afraid now because he was not confident. Block him! Quick, block him! Zhou Yuanhe shouted. The other Zhou family disciples did not dare to step forward and continuously retreat. One of them immediately ran away. I'm not a member of the Zhou family. I'm just a nobody. Don't kill me, don't kill me. He ran out like a madman. The people around Zhou Yuanhe lessened, and he grew more and more afraid. At this moment, rumble! A loud explosion resounded. A disciple was sent flying with an urn in his hand. Clang! The urn shattered, and black blood flowed all over the floor. The disciple's chest had been penetrated by an incomparably powerful supreme force. Pure strength. Boom! The secret room collapsed. A 3-meter-tall, rugged man stood there. From afar, he looked like a giant. A trace of blood-red light flashed across his eyes. His body was releasing such a demonic aura. The aura released from his body was extremely oppressive. Even Long Fei could not take it. An incomparably powerful, pure, and overwhelming power. Zhou Yuanhe's eyes turned sinister as he started laughing excitedly. Long Fei, the Yuanba you want is here? Yuanba, kill him for me. Get an order. Yuanba took a step. Bang, bang, bang. Every step he took caused the entire Zhou mansion to shake. It was like a small earthquake. He rushed to Long Fei's front and stared at Long Fei. Without any hesitation, he punched at Long Fei. Long Fei blocked the incoming punch with his 2 fists. Whoosh! Boom! He was directly sent flying dozens of meters away, crashing into a wall and causing the entire wall to collapse. The corner of Long Fei's mouth was stained with blood, and his hands were numb. Looking at Yuanba, who was rushing towards him like a bulldozer, Long Fei's heart sank. At the same time, Long Fei shouted loudly, Yuanba, it's me. I'm Long Fei. Don't you remember me? Long Fei. These 2 words were reflected in Yuanba's mind, and he stopped for half a second. It was also at this moment Zhou Yuanhe bellowed, You dog, I told you to kill him. Did you not hear me? Command passed down. Yuanba punched towards Long Fei again. He couldn't carry it anymore. Yuanba's power was too strong. Even Long Fei was a little unable to withstand it. Teleportation. He instantly teleported to another location. Long Fei stared at Zhou Yuanhe and asked, Zhou Yuanhe, what exactly did you do for him? Zhou Yuanhe laughed coldly. It's nothing. It's just a king of blood corpse. Right now, he only listens to my words, and he's even more obedient than dogs. Ha ha ha. Yuanba, what are you waiting for? Floating life. Table of contents. No windows? A++, kill him, had seen the blood corpse before when he killed Luo Xiao, and he had heard of it before, but this was the first time he had heard of the Blood Corpse King. At this moment, Yan Huang Ancestor's voice came out. Blood Corpse King Bugs, You need a long time to nurture them, and you need all kinds of blood essence. Once the blood corpse king bugs enter your body, I'm afraid it can never be saved again. The second chapter recommends a friend's book, Carefree Small Shinno, likes to support, thank, 8_8419/2356606. And can't be saved again? And can't be saved again? Long Fei was dumbstruck. At this moment, his gaze locked onto Zhou Yuanhe. His anger was like a volcano erupting. You did this? Zhou Yuanhe was not afraid of Long Fei at all right now, and he had clearly seen the 2 punches just now. Long Fei was not Yuan Ba's match, and laughed complacently. I have nurtured this king of blood corpse for 10 years, and it cost me countless of blood and sweat. From the moment I first laid eyes on Yuan Ba, I knew that he was the perfect vessel. He has inborn divine strength and 4 limbs. He can withstand the swallowing pain of the king of blood corpse and will not die during this process. But Zhou Yuanhe looked at his work that he was very proud of and said, it's just that I never thought that the power that he had exploded out would be so much stronger than what I imagined. Ha! Long Fei, didn't you want to find Yuan Ba? Go, fight him head on. Ha ha! Zhou Yuanhe laughed out arrogantly. Right now, he only listens to my orders. You treat him as a brother, but in his eyes, you are his enemy. Long Fei, I want to avenge my 2 grandsons, my son, and the Zhou family. Yuan Ba, kill him. Zhou Yuanhe was furious. Yuan Ba rushed towards Xiang Long Fei once again. Long Fei was enraged, thoroughly enraged. How could there be such a sinister person in this world? The anger in his heart could no longer be suppressed. Boom! Long Fei roared out in rage. Zhou Yuanhe, F***K your ancestors. Shua! As if his body was a remnant, he rushed to the front of Zhou Yuanhe and grabbed his collar, then jerked his head fiercely. He was lifted into the air and then slammed heavily onto the ground. Rumble! Zhou Yuanhe had no time to react at all. His body smashed to the ground, causing the ground to crack, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Yuan Ba, are you blind? Hurry up and kill him. Bam! Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei punched out. Puffed. Zhou Yuanhe spat out a mouthful of blood and said, Yuan Ba, you dead dog, hurry up. Bam! Long Fei punched again and roared, even if you were to die 10,000 times, it's still not enough. Instantly, Long Fei's fists were like a storm. Every punch was filled with all his strength and smashed onto Zhou Yuanhe's chest. He was enraged to the extreme. After 10 punches, his chest was pierced through. His intestines were flowing out, and his internal organs were flowing out, but Zhou Yuanhe did not die, because Long Fei did not let him die. Seeing his intestines on the ground, Zhou Yuanhe's face became pale from fright, his eyes filled with fear, and he said, Trash, you can't kill me. If you kill me, you will die too. Xianjian sect won't let you go. Chenlihu won't let you go. Wu Hao won't either. My grandson Zhou Tianyu won't either. He's the most talented genius disciple of the Xianjian sect. He's also a closed-door disciple of the Xianjian sect master. If you dare kill me, the entire Xianjian sect won't forgive you. Long Fei grinned. I won't kill you. When did I say I would kill you? People like you aren't even qualified to die by my hands. After Long Fei took out all of his intestines and organs, he did not continue because he wanted to keep Zhou Yuanhe alive. Long Fei stood up and looked at Yuan Ba, who was rushing towards him. His heart tightened as he asked, Ancestor, you are an expert of the Chaos Realm. Is there really no way to deal with this king of blood corpse? Looking at Yuan Ba, Long Fei felt very uncomfortable in his heart. How could this Lubi be so stupid? How could he swallow a king of blood corpse just to repay a favor? Too stupid. looking at his scarlet eyes. Long Fei fiercely roared out, "Luby, I'm Long Fei." The voice carried a true chi that penetrated his body. It directly charged into Yuan Ba's mind. When Yuan Ba's fist landed, he stood in place without moving an inch. Suddenly, the fist stopped right in front of Long Fei, just 1 centimeter away from his head. He stopped. After the fist landed, Yuan Ba looked at Long Fei. The two of them looked at each other. Yuan Ba's eyes were filled with pain, as if saying, "I feel so uncomfortable. I feel so uncomfortable." Long Fei's heart ached. He asked again in his heart, "Ancestor, is there really no way?" He really didn't want to give up. Even if there was a sliver of a chance, he didn't want to give it up. The magic equipment that he refined, Raging Thunder, was specially made for Yuan Ba. His Space Ring S, as well as his giant spirit arm, had not been merged yet, and it was specially made for him. He really treated Yuan Ba as a brother. He really wanted this brother, because his stupidity had moved Long Fei. The Yen Huang ancestor said slightly, "If my strength were to recover, forget about King of Blood Corpse. Even if Blood Dragon King Chong Wang, I would be able to instantly clear it away. I am only a remnant soul right now. I don't even have 1/1000th of my former strength. However, Long Fei, I have a way to save him, but you have to think about it carefully, because even if this method succeeds, he will eventually become a retarded fool. Also, the chances of failure are very high. You have to think carefully. At least he won't die like this." If Yen Huang ancestor did not continue. He himself also felt that he couldn't help Long Fei. It was true in the Fireglass City, and it was true here. This feeling made him feel very bad. However, he was still just a discarnate soul. How much power could he possibly have? As if he had heard the words of the Yen Huang ancestor, Yuan Ba said to Long Fei with great difficulty, Save me." Long Fei looked at him. He could feel the pain in Yuan Ba's body, the pain of his brain being devoured. Yen Huang ancestor also said, "He probably swallowed the King of Blood Corpse within an hour. There's still a chance for success. Brat, hurry up and make your decision." "All right," Long Fei said, "I want to save him." Long Fei looked at Yuan Ba and said, "Luby, I will definitely save you. Even if you become an idiot, you're still my Long Fei's brother." Yen Huang ancestor slightly said, "Listen carefully." "What did I say? What did you do? You can't go back on your word." Also, he must not resist, and let him suppress the King of Blood Corpse in his body. Long Fei said, "Come." Yen Huang ancestor replied, "True chi move, all four skeletons gather at the tip of one finger condensed into a blade, using chi as a blade." Long Fei did as he was told. The true chi surged, and its value was quickly decreasing. Long Fei's true chi blade entered Yuan Ba's mind, and that King of Blood Corpse was frantically controlling Yuan Ba to counterattack. Yuan Ba's entire body was trembling. However, his fist stopped several times when he was still half a kilometer away from Long Fei, because a ball of consciousness was planted in his mind. Long Fei was the only person who was good to him in this world. The only one. http:// half an hour later. Long Fei's fingers loosened, and his entire body became extremely weak. This was the first time in history that he was this weak. Yuan Ba's body also suddenly shrunk as his throat churned, and he fiercely spat out a mouthful of black blood. Within the blood was a thumb-like King of Blood Corpse. Yen Huang ancestor slightly said, "Whether or not he can wake up now all depends on himself." Chapter 38_8419/2356607. "Luby, you must endure it. Luby, you must endure it." Definitely. While talking, Long Fei stood up. Yuan Ling anxiously ran over and supported Long Fei, saying, Long Fei, you need to rest now. Don't move recklessly. Long Fei walked to the side of Zhou Yuanhe, who was still desperately struggling. Zhou Yuanhe said in fear, You said that you won't kill me. As a man, you should keep your word. He was truly afraid now. Long Fei was really a madman, a complete madman. Long Fei smiled and said, I have indeed said that I won't kill you, and I have also guaranteed to you that I definitely won't do anything to you again. And then Long Fei looked at Yuan Ling and said, Go and fetch all those stray dogs from the street here. Yuan Ling nodded and said, Okay. Zhou Yuantong felt his scalp go numb. What do you want to do? You said you wouldn't kill me. You said it. Yeah, I didn't kill you. Long Fei laughed coldly and said, A sinister person like you isn't even qualified to die by my hands. Didn't you always shout dog thing? Dog trash? Today, I'll let you experience the power of a dog. A few minutes later, 5 or 6 stray dogs seemed to charge towards Zhou Yuanhe. Zhou Yuanhe continued to tear at his intestines and organs. Zhou Yuanhe watched as he was torn apart by the stray dogs. Cruel, if compared to those methods he used on Yuan Ba, it couldn't even be compared to 10%. Zhou Yuanhe shouted loudly, Long Fei, my grandson will not let you go, and Xianjian sect will also not let you go, just you wait. Ah, just you wait. Howling sounds like that of pigs being butchered rang out in the air above the Zhou mansion. Ding! Congratulations to player. Long Fei for killing. Zhou Yuanhe for gaining EXP, True Qi 200, energy values 10 points. Congratulations to player. Long Fei for obtaining Spirit Stones. 21. Congratulations to player. Long Fei for obtaining Mingyu Sword. Congratulations to player. Long Fei for obtaining. Directly exchanged all the trash into points. Zhou Yuanhe's death was just the beginning. He wouldn't let anyone who touched his brother get away with it. Long Fei looked at the towering Xianjian peak in the clouds, clenched his fists, and said, Just you wait. Are you not letting me go? Your father, will definitely not let you off. Long Fei ate all of the dragon spirit pills. He was still a lot of experience away from leveling up, and leveling up would be a little difficult at the end of the day. He had to replenish his true qi value. The Xianjian peak still had a tough battle waiting for him. Long Fei walked over to Yuan Ling's side, quietly looked at her, and muttered, Why are you so stupid? Yuan Ling was startled and said, What's wrong with me? Long Fei said, Fatty Niu has already told me everything. Yuan Ling smiled lightly at Long Fei and said, I am willing. Air. Long Fei's heart ached as he asked, Do you like Xianjian sect? Turning the topic, Yuan Ling did not know what to say. He was stunned for half a second, then nodded. I like it. Xianjian sect is a sect of the sword in the South Horizon region. I have always had this place as my target since I was young. Long Fei smiled and said, Then you must work hard. Of course. Yuan Ling said she had always been working hard, although she was kidnapped by the Zhou family, framed by Chen Lihu and Wu Haowu, but in her heart she had never resented Xianjian sect. In her heart, she had always treated the Xianjian sect as her home. Long Fei could also see that there was fatty ox in his eyes. He had always wanted to revitalize the artifact forging hall. Long Fei took out the Thunder Snake sword from the space ring and said, I always wanted to give it to you as a gift. I never had the chance. This is the Thunder Spirit sword I brought from the Thunder Dragon Temple, and it's suitable for you. The moment he took out the Thunder Snake sword, Yuan Ling was attracted. For me, Yuan Ling was a little excited. Long Fei nodded and said, This is for you. Both of Yuan Ling's hands trembled as she received the Thunder Snake sword because she felt an inexplicable sense of happiness. Long Fei laughed blandly. This time, you must not casually give away your weapon. Yuan Ling held the Thunder Snake sword and took a step forward. When she moved in the courtyard, she was like a butterfly fairy that was dancing in the courtyard, causing Long Fei to feel extremely dizzy. Long Fei muttered to himself, "Take good care of yourself." The Zhou family had been massacred. After wounding an inner elder, it was already impossible for Long Fei to join the Xianjian sect. He knew this very well. Yuan Ling liked the Xianjian sect. He could not drag Yuan Ling into it. It was the same with the fat cow. Yan Huang ancestor asked, "Have you made your decision?" Long Fei answered, "It's done." The Yan Huang ancestor smiled slightly and said, "In Xianjian sect, you are able to lay down missions, find the heart of ancient fairy tree quickly, and quickly raise the strength of the dragon Salyer. If you leave, I'm afraid that we will have to delay it again." "I'm fine. This is only one of the paths. Didn't you say that there is another path to take?" Long Fei smiled faintly. It was not that he wanted to leave, but he had no choice. If he didn't leave, then this matter might happen again someday. And that may not be the case. The Yan Huang ancestor laughed and said, "Ha ha. Kid, you really care about camaraderie." Long Fei also laughed. If you had swallowed all of my holy artifact, my heart would have broken into pieces. If you did not care about camaraderie, I will definitely break your third leg." Yan Huang ancestor was startled. "Ha ha." Half an hour later, Yuan Ba moved. Long Fei immediately sensed it. "Lubi, wake up." Yuan Ba opened his eyes in a daze. His eyes were as young and tender as a 3 or 4-year-old child. He looked at Long Fei and asked curiously, "Who are you?" Long Fei immediately choked with sobs. She really wanted to drag Zhou Yuanhe out of the underworld and kill him 100,000 times over. She looked at Yuan Ba and smiled. "I'm your boss, Long Fei." "Boss? Long Fei?" Yuan Ba scratched his head in a silly manner, sank into deep thought, and muttered to himself, "This name is so familiar, so intimate, but why can't I remember it?" Yuan Ling also ran over. "Yuan," Ba asked again, "and who is she?" Yuan Ling said anxiously, "I'm Yuan Ling. Don't you remember me?" Yuan Ling: "I don't remember. Not at all." Yuan Ba was just like a child. He didn't remember anything other than a slight reaction to the word Long Fei. There was nothing else. Long Fei felt his heart ache. Yan Huang ancestor said, "It's much better than I expected. He is only amnesia now. His memories should have been devoured by the Blood Corpse King, but luckily he did not become an idiot. It's just a memory loss. As long as we have some time, he will be able to recover. I don't remember anything. Floating life. Table of contents. No windows?" A++ Long Fei nodded and said, "Thank you, ancestor." Yan Huang ancestor smiled. Yuan Ba looked at Long Fei and asked, "You all have names, then who am I?" Long Fei stood up and said in a serious tone, "From today onwards, you will be called Li Yuan Ba." Chapter 48_8419/2356608. Li Yuan Ba, Li Yuan Ba, Li Yuan Ba. I like that name. Hee hee. Li Yuan Ba revealed a bright smile and laughed happily. This was the first time Long Fei saw him smile so happily. Long Fei also laughed. And then Long Fei took out the giant spirit arms and said, "These are a pair of giant spirit arms. Fuse them together." "There's more. These are a pair of godly hammers, your exclusive weapons." Fury Thunder also took it out. Yuan Ling stared at the space between Lei's brows and said gently, This seems to be a demon weapon, Long Fei. It is best not to take this weapon out." if the disciples of Xianjian sect see it. I am afraid. Long Fei laughed. It doesn't matter. A weapon could observe a person's identity. If one were to hold this pair of lightning hammers in their hands, others would be able to tell that you were a member of the devil sect at a glance. It was fine elsewhere, but this was the Xianjian sect. It was the sword faction that had an irreconcilable enmity with the devil sect. Li Yuanba happily received the dual hammers and immediately jumped away. The dual hammers moved. Boom, boom, boom. The power of thunder continued to wreak havoc in the void, and the giant spirit arms seemed to have been customized for him, completely fusing in a short moment. The divine power from Li Yuanba's body was released in an incomparably dense manner. Moreover, what surprised Long Fei the most was his expression, and the aura his body was releasing. Demon. They never would have thought. Li Yuanba's body released a demonic aura. The Yan Huang ancestor said, "Maybe it's because of the King of Blood Corpse. You might not notice, but the King of Blood Corpse, he vomited out, shrunk into a ball, and all of the profound qi in his body was absorbed. There is only one reason it was absorbed by the blood vein energy in Yuanba's body, and that is why he entered the devil state. There is another possibility. Angry. The last thing the Zhou clan did to him was infuriated, and he went insane with rage. However, regardless of the reason, to him, becoming a demon is the best path and also the best choice, because in my memories, the ancient giant spirit god is a demon lord. It's only a matter of time before he becomes a demon of the divine spirit blood vein." Long Fei was stunned. Is the giant spirit god a demon elder? In the ancient times, there was a giant spirit god. However, the two of them were not the same person. Thunder raged. The sky above the Zhou mansion was rolling and roaring. All of this was because of Li Yuanba's power. It was extremely powerful. Furthermore, it was 3 meters tall, with explosive muscles, giving off a strong visual impact. If he were to carry the Xian Ming sword sheath sarcophagus on his back, he would be invincible. Shock. Long Fei looked at Yuanba and asked, "Yuanba, are you willing to follow me?" Li Yuanba retracted his hammers and immediately nodded. "I am willing. I am willing. You are the person who treats me the best. I will follow you my entire life. I am willing to be an ox or a horse. I am even willing to be a slave." At this moment, ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the Subduing Yuanba quest. You have obtained 100,000 points experience, 10,000 true chi points, 1,000 points. Ding! Quest score. Ding! Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining a SS grade. Huh! Long Fei was startled. SS rank? Isn't the highest S rank 1? There are also SS class 1s. What kind of special rewards can you get for a high-level score? Ding! Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining an SS rating. The reward is free of charge. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for defeating Yuanba and obtaining a SS rating, activating 8 King Kong systems. What's going on? Long Fei was a little confused. He had seen countless systems, but what was 8 King Kong systems? Long Fei shivered and immediately checked. System. 8 King Kong systems, 8 War God system. They were Holy King Kong, Demon Subduing Vajra, Sword Force King Kong, Arrogant Knife King Kong, Arhut King Kong, Holy Armor King Kong, God, S-Water King Kong, and Yuling Guardian Warrior. Description. Every King Kong Supreme Force requires the player Long Fei to personally surrender. Every King Kong Supreme Elder needs to be acknowledged by the system before they can be considered as successful. Description 2. The return of the 8 Great King of Vajra will grant you a special reward of sect order, the establishment of your own sect. Notification. The current Holy King Kong is back. It was very obvious that Li Yuanba was the Holy King Kong. Long Fei was stunned. That old master of mine. You have to be so cocky? Do you want to give someone else a bit of space to live? If you make me too handsome like this, how can others live? Ha ha ha. I like 8 King Kong systems. Vajra won. 8 people came out. That scene. Ha ha ha. I'm starting to get a little impatient. Long Fei became excited. A single Li Yuanba made him extremely excited. Touch of the 8 King Kong systems, which meant that there would be 7 other people as fierce as Li Yuanba in the future. That scene was simply too cool. He was so handsome that he didn't dare to think about it anymore. Long Fei thought, we will establish the sect. 8 great Vajra protectors. Good. I will definitely find all 8 of these people. My Long family will definitely dominate the entire Sky Martial continent. I will make the entire continent tremble for my Long family. Yuan Ling looked at the excited Long Fei and was a little confused. Long Fei, what's wrong? Long Fei quickly regained his composure and said, I'm fine, I'm fine. I'm happy to see Yuan Ba recover. It was obvious that he was not happy. Yuan Ling did not ask again and said, what do you plan to do now? Long Fei said, it's very simple, go to Xianjian's sect. Yuan Ba. Li Yuanba immediately replied, I'm here. Long Fei laughed, follow me to Xianjian's sect. Yuan Ling panicked and said he can't do it. He can't do it while holding that pair of lightning hammers. Long Fei, can you not do it? All right. Long Fei thought for a while, then took it out and said, Yuan Ba, put away the hammer first. Li Yuanba said, understood. He would not be long-winded. Long Fei continued, before we go to Xianjian Peak, let's make a trip there first. There's still one more thing we need to leave there. Xianming Sword. Xianjian Peak. It was a solemn atmosphere, filled with a vigorous aura. This dense qi crushed down on everyone in the martial arts arena. Intersect Great Elder Wu Haotian, a level 1 War Emperor warrior. His appearance caused the entire outer sect to feel extremely depressed. Standing beside him were 2 people. One was Chun Li Hu, while the other was Wu Haowu. Wu Haotian's voice sank, and she said faintly, Ro Shui, today we let the disciples of the devil sect go right under your nose. How are you going to explain this matter? Strongest upgrade system. His identity had not been confirmed, but he had already confirmed that Long Fei was a disciple of the demon sect. Wu Haotian continued, killing 300 disciples of my Xianjian sect. I will definitely not let this matter go easily. Soft water. It's good that he came back today. If he doesn't, you'll have to bear the consequences. Chapter 5. 8_8419/2356609. Sects were also existences with complicated powers. Sects were also existences with complicated powers. Wu Haotian had always been unhappy with Ro Shui and the other 2. He was in charge of the training hall, while Ro Shui and the other 2 were in charge of the hidden sword hall. Their sword techniques and sword skills were all being controlled by them. So if Wu Haotian wanted to do something, he would need the sect master's instructions to enter. All these years, it had made him very unhappy. This time, he definitely had to step on Ro Shui's soft body when he got the chance. Ro Shui slightly said, but what if your people colluded with each other and tried to murder the examinees? Wu Haotian gave a cold laugh and said, I will follow the sect's rules. Chun Li Hu and Wu Haowu's expressions became cold, and their bodies trembled. Elder Chun, you secretly ordered 300 outer disciples to enter the hunting grounds. Although you said that you wanted to maintain order, the truth is that you are targeting a disciple who is taking the examination. accept Zhou Yuan's bribe, and have Zhou Yuntian lead a group of people to assassinate Long Fei. As far as I know, it is because Long Fei obtained the secret treasure of the Thunder Dragon Temple that the Zhou family gathered so many people to deal with him, and you are the accomplice. Am I right? Chun Lihu's face turned sinister, his palms breaking out in cold sweat. Without waiting for him to speak, Wu Haotian smiled slightly and said, "The night before yesterday, when the devil aura was faintly discernible, this is the first time the Xianjian sect had produced devil aura in dozens of years. In order to ensure the smooth progress of this assessment, Elder Chen had sent out 300 outer sect disciples to maintain order. Is there anything amiss with that? It's Long Fei. He killed 300 outer sect elites in an instant. Only the disciples of the devil sect would be so cruel." "Elder Chen, am I right?" Chen Lihu immediately replied, "That's what I did. I only sent people to protect the disciples when I sensed the appearance of the devil aura. Who would have thought that Long Fei was actually a disciple of the devil sect? His methods were extremely ruthless." He relaxed and admired Wu Haotian to the extreme. Rou Shui's eyes sunk and asked, "Do you have any evidence to prove that Long Fei killed those people?" "Evidence?" Chen Lihu immediately said, "I have a witness." "Witness?" Rou Shui's forehead tightened. One of the senior fellow apprentice behind her said in a low voice, "Junior sister apprentice, this matter is obviously Wu Haotian's fault. You shouldn't bury yourself because of that brat. It's not worth it." Rou Shui ignored him and continued to ask, "Where is the witness?" Wu Haotian smiled slightly and said, "Rou Shui, witnesses don't need to appear now. We are waiting for Long Fei now. If he doesn't come back, it will be sufficient proof that he is a disciple of the devil sect." Niu Dahai shouted loudly, "Long Fei is not a disciple of the demon sect. I saw him kill dozens of disciples from the blood refinement sect with my own eyes." Wu Haotian laughed coldly. "This is where his brilliance lies. Your kind of IQ, like a pig or a dog, will naturally be stupefied by him." Niu Dahai was not happy and said, "Then what about Wu Haowu stealing my fire knife?" "How dare you?" Wu Haowu immediately became angry and said, "You dog, how can you call me by my name? Who do you think you are?" Wu Haotian asked, "Did he steal his fire knife?" Wu Haowu said with a serious face, "I don't even know what he's talking about. I have never seen the fire knife before. Defamation of the clan elders. You deserve to die for your crimes." Wu Haotian asked coldly, "Are you in the law enforcement hall?" And then an elder of the law enforcement hall stood up and said, "Yes." Wu Haotian said, "You heard what I said just now, slandering an elder, guilty of death. But I have a very good heart. It's fine if I die, but cut off the tendons in his arms and legs and throw him down the mountain." The face of the elder from the law enforcement hall changed. "Grand Elder, this—" Wu Haotian's eyes turned sinister, and he bellowed, "Did you not hear my words clearly?" Rou Shui said, "The law enforcement hall only accepts the sect head's orders. Your great elder hasn't given his all to order them." "Oh, no rights?" Wu Haotian laughed coldly, taking out an order badge from his bosom. "Do you have the power now?" Sect Master Token. The person who saw the token acted as if he had seen the Grand Master. Rou Shui's expression changed while all the disciples kneeled on the ground. Wu Haotian sneered in his heart, "I already knew that you guys would do this, but this time I will trample you underfoot." "Ha ha! Where is the law enforcement hall?" Wu Haotian let out another heavy shout, "Break the tendons in his hands and feet for me." "Yes, sir." This time, the law enforcement elder didn't dare to disobey. Soft water stopped him. "Master, isn't it too much to only talk about one side? Is there any fire knife on Wu Haowu? Take out the things inside his space ring, and you'll know." If there is, that means he stole Niu Dahai's fire knife. Wu Haoqian shook suddenly, stood up, and said, "Impudent! On the account that you are an inner court elder and have always been polite to others, now you actually want to search the body of an inner court elder? What is this fatty's identity? What's the status of an inner court elder? I have shown great mercy by breaking his tendons. If you anger me, I will kill him on the spot." His voice carried an incomparably strong aura of war emperor. It was like the roar of a hungry tiger crushing the soft water. It was very hard. The surrounding crowd also echoed. "Great elder is right. He is just an outer sect disciple trash. How can he request for an inner sect elder's help? Outer court trash. So be it. There's no such thing as a pity. How could outer sect waste have a heaven-ranked spirit weapon? This is simply impossible." Exactly. Outer court trash. Outer court trash. This phrase deeply provoked Niu Dahai, clenching his fists and teeth tightly. The anger in his heart had never been so intense before. 3 elders behind Rou Shui also pulled her back and advised in a low voice, "Junior sister apprentice, you cannot defeat him. He has the sect master badge. We can't do anything. Furthermore, this inner and outer sect are his people. If you continue to be like this, you will only be trapping yourself in." "Yeah. Junior sister apprentice, listen to my advice. Let's wait for the Grand Master to come out of seclusion." Now, Wu Haoqian had the advantage in all aspects. They have a witness. Demonic energy had also appeared before. Wu Haoqian's advantage was too great. There was no way to win. The entire outer sect was his men. How could he fight them? Wu Haoqian looked coldly at Rou Shui and sneered disdainfully. "Elder Rou Shui, do you still have anything else to say?" Wu Hao crossed his arms in front of his chest with a smug look on his face. Chun Lihu was also extremely pleased with himself. Strongest upgrade system. As far as they were concerned, they'd won. The most important point was that they did not have to bear any responsibility for the death of the 300 outer sect disciples. Suddenly, on the stairs outside the training field, a voice rang out, "You don't need to search yourself to see if there's a fire knife. You'll know once it explodes." Chapter 68_8419/2356610. Before he could finish, a youth walked up the stairs, step by step. His figure slowly appeared in front of everyone's eyes. It was Long Fei. Behind him, the top of a coffin slowly appeared, and finally a 3M tall big guy, Li Yuanba, carrying a sarcophagus on his back. He had a tall and sturdy build and a powerful physique, giving off an incomparable visual impact. Then there was the Yuanling. The 3 of them slowly approached the training field. All eyes were on the 3 of them. Wu Haowu immediately said in a low voice, "Big brother, he is Long Fei." Wu Haoqian squinted his eyes. He did not expect Long Fei to really dare to come back. At the same time, the aura of the War Emperor realm was released. Wu Haoqian frowned. He doesn't have any devilish aura on him. If that's the case, Wu Haoqian began to plan in his heart. He had to make good use of this matter to trample on Rou Shui and the others. Niu Dahai replied excitedly, "Boss." Long Fei did not look at Niu Dahai, but continued, "There's no need to search. You will know once it explodes." Walking to the side of Rou Shui, Long Fei whispered his thanks and said, "Thank you. I will take care of the rest myself. No matter what sort of things I do or what actions I take, you better not get involved. It's best not to let any innocent disciples get involved either." Rou Shui's heart trembled and immediately asked, "Long Fei, what are you planning to do? Don't mess around. I'll definitely help you." Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "Do what I have to do." Finished. Long Fei took a step forward, looked at Wu Haoqian, and sneered, and said, Wu Haowu, did it feel good being beaten by me just now? Direct provocation. The crowd burst into an uproar. Wu Haowu's expression changed drastically as he became extremely ugly. Gritting his teeth, he said, "You dog, if it wasn't for your sneak attack just now, I would have taken your life." It was also at this time. The corner of Long Fei's eyes widened. "Yuan Ba." Yuan Ba replied, honestly, "Understood." With that, he took Zhou Yuanhe's head out from the space ring and threw it onto the stage, rolling at Wu Haotian's feet. Long Fei said coldly, "Zhou Yuan has said everything. The three of you colluded with each other to kill me? Are you even worthy?" Long Fei looked like he was not afraid of the big deal. It was completely illogical. Even Wu Haotian was stunned, but then, this was even better as he said, "Since you've said so yourself, let me ask you, why did you kill those 300 disciples?" While they were talking, Chen Lihu immediately called out a group of witnesses. Pointing at Long Fei, he asked, "Did he kill Zhou Tianyan and the rest?" Everyone quickly nodded. "That's right, that's him. We saw him with our own eyes. There's no need to mention how cruel he can be. He's a demon." Chen Lihu immediately roared, "Long Fei, what else do you have to say?" Long Fei sneered and said, "There's nothing much to say. What can I say?" Chen Lihu laughed complacently. "Then you admit to it. Admit it." Long Fei did not try to quibble at all. Chen Lihu laughed complacently and said loudly, "Did you hear that? Did you hear that?" He had admitted it himself. What was the law enforcement hall waiting for? "Quick, take him down." "Isn't it too fast?" It was surprisingly fast. Long Fei laughed. "Chen Lihu, why didn't you tell us why you sent Zhou Yuntian to kill me? Why don't you ask these witnesses what kind of martial skill I used to kill all 300 of them at the same time?" Chen Lihu was speechless for a moment and couldn't help but look at Wu Haotian. "Speak. Why aren't you saying any more?" Long Fei asked. 300 outer court disciples to maintain order?" Chen Lihu stuttered. I didn't send anyone to kill you at all. Those 300 disciples were there to prevent the demon sect's disciples from invading and to maintain order." Long Fei laughed. "Where are the disciples of the devil sect?" Chen Lihu clenched his teeth and said, "You are a disciple of the devil sect." "Me. Ha ha ha." Long Fei started laughing, staring at Wu Haotian. "Am I a disciple of the devil sect?" Wu Haotian said coldly, "Only you know whether you are a disciple of the devil sect or not. It is a fact that you have decided to kill 300 outer sect disciples. You admitted it yourself." Long Fei's eyes turned sinister as he shouted, "Because they deserve to die." "How dare you?" Wu Haotian roared angrily. "It's not up to a piece of trash like you to decide whether or not they should die." Long Fei laughed sinisterly and said, "I'm a piece of trash, right?" In that instant, Long Fei's aura burst forth, and he said, "Today, Long Fei, will challenge your Xianjian sect. I want to see who is the trash. Chen Lihu, didn't you want to kill me? Come. I'll challenge you by name. Arrogant, domineering, arrogant beyond belief. To challenge the entire Xianjian sect. This." Everyone was shocked. Niu Dahai was dumbstruck. Yuan Ling was immediately stupefied, while Rou Shui and the other three were at a loss. What was he saying? It was as if they didn't understand. Wu Haotian's lips curved up as he sneered. "What did you say just now?" Long Fei said word by word. "I say, I want to challenge your entire Xianjian sect." Puchi, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. The crowd burst into laughter. Almost everyone was laughing and mocking him nonstop. To challenge the entire Xianjian sect? Is my brain spasming? A person at the 6th level of war chief challenging the entire Xianjian sect? If he wasn't a fool, then he must have a screw loose. I'll do it. A disciple raised his sword and instantly flew to Long Fei's side. At this moment, boom, Yuan Ba's footsteps moved as he carried the enormous stone coffin on his back. His body weighed more than 5,000 kilograms, and with a single step, he directly stomped a thick bluestone, creating a deep crater. Without waiting for the disciple to fall, Yuan Ba fiercely slapped his face and innocently said, "Boss said that he would challenge Chengohu by name." Pa! Yuan Ba's palm was incomparably large and directly covered that disciple's head. Yi Zichen slapped down. That disciple instantly fell to the ground. His body rotated 360 degrees and heavily crashed into the ground. The 5 finger marks on his face were indentations, and all the bones under his skin had been shattered. The other side smashed into the wall, bleeding from the head. His body spasmed a few times. Instant kill. After the battle, Yuan Ba acted like he was nothing and quietly retreated behind Long Fei. It was as if nothing had happened. The entire place was silent. It was so quiet that it made people panic, and they couldn't help but feel a sense of dread. That official disciple just now was a peak realm cultivator, and he was killed with a single slap. Moreover, he was still carrying a large stone coffin and hadn't used his full strength at all. If he used his full strength, then his head was about to break from the fan. Yuan Ba naively said, "My boss said to challenge Chengohu by name." Long Fei replied, "Chenlihu?" "Oh," Li Yuanba repeated, "Chengohu." Long Fei's index finger moved as he pointed at Chenlihu and said, "Didn't you want to kill me?" Table of contents, half, /float* life. Chapter 7, thank you for your support. The C said, 1 point. The price is set by the website, not I can change. Besides, there are always people in the book circles who say that I copied and tricked people, all sorts of slanderous things about me. I just want to say that if you're really upset, I'm begging you in the ocean, don't look at me, you're tired, and I'm annoyed too. I'm not the R&B. I can't do everybody's thing. I have to work very hard every day, and sometimes I have to take care of my children, and I need an hour and a half to finish every chapter, and I can't bear it any longer. I'll continue to work 7 chapters tomorrow, and next week I'll reduce the number of chapters by 2. I want to earn this money, but I also want to live to earn it, so everyone read slowly. And finally, thank you all for your subscriptions, tips, and thank you all. I'm sorry, I said. I'm sorry. 8_8419/2356611. Too arrogant. Too arrogant. He couldn't hold it in anymore. Even the gods couldn't help themselves. Wu Haoqian bellowed, "Elder Chun?" Without another word, Chenlihu took a step forward and said, "Long Fei, I want to avenge the 300 dead disciples." Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei interrupted him and said, "Don't bother with those useless things. Hurry up and come over." Niu Dahai said loudly, "Boss." Yuan Ling also anxiously replied, "Long Fei." However, Long Fei looked at them like they were strangers and sneered. "Who are you? Get out of my way, will you?" To challenge the Xianjian sect, but the Xianjian sect, Long Fei alone. How could they not be worried? However, they felt that Long Fei's gaze was extremely strange. Why? Niu Dahai and Yuan Ling were both shocked, especially Yuan Ling. She felt that Long Fei had become a completely different person after entering the training grounds. Chenlihu moved both of his hands, both claws striking at Xiang Longfei's throat. "You dog, hand over your life." Eagle claw. At the same instant when he attacked, the might of the other party surged forth. The corner of Long Fei's mouth drew back, and his arm sank. Magic power of right hand. Bam! Long Fei did not dodge nor retreat. Instead, he rushed forward as he thought to himself, "Those who harm my brother die." It was incomparably fierce. Teleport. Long Fei's figure suddenly disappeared, and when Chunlihu reacted, Long Fei's fist had already landed on his claw. Crack! His palm was in extreme pain, Chunlihu's right arm was numb, and his left hand swept upwards. Long Fei still did not dodge. He released the power of the mountain hit fist from his left fist and directly punched his face. At the same time, Chunlihu's left claw grabbed, and a line of blood appeared on Long Fei's chest. Chunlihu was pushed back as blood spurted out from his nose. Moonlit step. Shwa. Long Fei took a step forward, and without waiting for Chunlihu to stabilize himself, he cupped his fists. Roar. The large power King Kong ape's shadow superimposed on his body, and his fists were like battle axes, heavily smashing down towards Chunlihu's head. Get down! Rumble! Kacha! 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 From the top of his head. All the bones were broken, his entire body was kneeling on the ground, his face was pale, blood spewed out from his mouth nonstop. He looked at Wu Haotian, who was standing on the stage. Great clan elder, save me. Long Fei stood beside him and stared coldly at Wu Haotian. The corner of his mouth turned cold as a fist smashed onto Chunlihu's temple. The last sliver of blood left in the gash on the top of his head was almost gone. Bam! His body tilted and fell heavily to the ground. Long Fei did not even look at him, stared at Wu Haowu and said coldly, "Your turn next." The speed of this battle was simply too fast. It was so fast that people were dazzled, and they couldn't see clearly. Elder Chen actually died. He really killed Elder Chen? What just happened? The surrounding people were shocked. Ro Shui's face sank. She thought to herself, this is bad. We are at a point where there is no other way to go about it. Junior Sister Apprentice, is this person really a War Chief Realm cultivator? His strength is so much stronger than the average War Elder realm. This kid, his lips were trembling. He wanted to stop Long Fei, but thinking about what Long Fei had just said and how he had just tortured and killed Chunlihu, the current Long Fei was already unable to join the Xianjian sect. No one would agree. Moreover, Wu Haotian was enraged. What guts? Wu Haotian raged. You killed an elder of the Xianjian sect. Today, you will walk out of the Xianjian peak, even if you have 10 lives. Long Fei said arrogantly, I already said I want to challenge Xianjian sect. How can I challenge Xianjian sect if I don't have the guts? Next, Wu Haowu, it's your turn. Wu Haowu took a step forward. His eyes turned sinister as he coldly snorted. Long Fei, you're too arrogant. I am arrogant. I'm just calling you out to stomp on you. Come on. Long Fei arrogantly sneered. Now, that Chunlihu had died. The next one would be Wu Haowu, and he had to die as well, because he also touched his brother. Yuan Ling stepped forward and pulled Long Fei back. He shook his head and almost cried. Long Fei, don't, please don't, I'm begging you. There was still a way back. If this went on, there would be no turning back. Furthermore, Wu Haotian, who still had the War Emperor realm, would never be a match for it no matter how strong he was. Long Fei coldly snorted and said, Who are you? Do I know you well? Get out of my way. While they were talking, Long Fei pushed Yuan Ling away. His eyes was resolute and cold. He didn't want to do that. But this was the only way to help Yuan Ling. If he did not do this, after he escapes, Yuan Ling, Fatty Nyo would definitely be punished by the Xianjian sect. He would instead harm Yuan Ling and the others. Yuan Ling and Fatty Nyo could not leave the Xianjian sect. Long Fei's heart ached. If He was strong enough, so he didn't need to be born. Come on. I didn't kill you in the beginning. This time, I will definitely kill you. Long Fei's voice was like thunder, causing the pain in his heart to completely explode outwards. Wu Hao gritted his teeth, so hard that his teeth were popping out. Roaring in rage, the sword on his body moved. Buzz, buzz. The sword hummed. Then, a sword chi surged out, and from his body, tens of sword illusions appeared, leaning against his back with rings on their backs. Returning spring sword, heaven-ranked 9-sword technique. Now, this Long Fei brat is going to die. Initially, Elder Wu was caught unprepared by the sneak attack, but this time, it is definitely impossible. Elder Wu is an expert of the War Master Ream. You have more than enough strength to deal with an expert of the War Chief. Kid, let's see how you can still act so arrogantly. The surrounding disciples discussed. Just as they had said, the reason Wu Hao was beaten up was because of Long Fei's sneak attack. Ro Shui could not help but remind Long Fei, Long Fei, you have to be careful of his sword technique. Gentle water. Rumble. Wu Haotian was enraged and berated. If you dare say another word, this old man will cripple you. Wu Hao's eyes darkened. He stared at Long Fei coldly and said, You dog, under my sword of return to the river Styx, you shall belong to Huang Quan. The sword stabbed out. The illusory sword on his body began to move. It was also at this time. Pa! Goo-goo! A series of weird growls came out of Long Fei's throat as he sprawled on the ground. Wu Hao laughed proudly. You want to lie on the ground and play dead? Too late. Before he could finish. Road to the netherworld. Toting skill. Long Fei moved his forelimbs, and his body shot out like a cannonball. Caret, half, /float * life. Wu Hao had a defensive spirit treasure on him. Ordinary attacks were useless. The toting skill's attack power was different. This time, he wanted Wu Hao to kneel on the ground and sing a song of conquest. The first chapter, 8_8419/2356612. He ran into it. He ran into it. He ran into it. Are you crazy? Use his body to collide with the sword? Ha ha ha. You're courting death. The illusory swords on Wu Hao's body pierced toward Xiang Longfei like a sword snake. Clang, clang, clang. Flames flew in all directions. The illusions of the sword were all broken. As though they were all broken swords, they all fell down. Long Fei's idea sunk and suddenly roared out, Whoosh Wong! Crack! Bam! It heavily smashed into Wu Hao's chest. Wu Hao's body caved in, and he revealed a sinister and pained expression as he roared, Trash! It's useless! Your power is completely useless against me. Boom! Wu Hao flew out and crashed into the stage below. Without any hesitation, he crawled up from the ground and laughed in disdain. Brat, with just you? You can't hurt me, ha ha ha. The corner of Long Fei's mouth raised and lightly smiled and said, Really? It was also at this time. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister as a wave of power surged out. It directly linked to the moment he crashed into Wu Hao's chest and the penetrating force of the toting skill entered his body. The moment he linked it with that force, Long Fei shouted, Kill them all! Crack! Put on! Wu Hao instantly knelt down towards Long Fei. Pooh! Pew! The blood in my mouth continuously bubbled out as I said in pain, Impossible! Absolutely impossible! The bear spirit armor on me is a semi-artifact. It's impossible. Big brother, save me. Puffed. Ah. Blood spurted out of his mouth, like crazy. His internal organs were like a meat grinder, stirring crazily and corroding completely. Long Fei walked forward step by step until he was in front of Wu Haowu, then smiled. Let's sing a song of conquest. Wu Haowu stared at Long Fei. Long Fei sneered. You're not going to sing it? Forget it. Anyway, you can't sing. If that's the case, then go to hell. Long Fei moved. With one hand on Wu Hao's neck, he stared at Wu Haotian, who was standing on the stage, and chuckled. Next. He twisted it. Crack. Rotating his neck 180 degrees, Wu Haowu dead. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing, Wu Haowu for obtaining an experience point, True Chi 300 points, energy values 100 points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Bear Spirit Armor. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Fire Knife. The system sounded out a few times. Long Fei also took this opportunity to remove Wu Haowu's space ring. The idea moved and laughed. There are really a lot of things, but they are all trash. This blade is not bad. While they were talking, Long Fei then took out the fire knife and said with a playful smile, Fire knife, who said just now that there were no fire knife? Is it this grandson? Ro Shui immediately stepped forward. Elder Wu, what do you say now? Is it still Niu Dahai framing me? Wu Haowu has colluded with Chun Li Hu. It is already clear that she is colluding with the Zhou family. What else do you have to say? Wahahaha. Ha ha ha. Wu Haotian let out a cold laugh. It was a laughter filled with an incomparably berserk aura, and his eyes were completely bloodshot. Staring at Long Fei, he said in a heavy tone, You killed 2 Xianjian sect elders in a row. You must be disciples of the devil sect. Demon sect disciples are disturbing my Xianjian sect. Die! Boom! Wu Haotian moved, his figure becoming like a devil as countless figures dispersed out, without waiting for Long Fei's response. Bam! A palm smashed into Long Fei's chest. Too fast, too fierce. Long Fei flew backwards like a remnant line, crashing into a wall 100 meters away, causing the entire wall to collapse. War Emperor Realm. This is the power of the War Emperor Realm. Within the ruins, Long Fei clenched his teeth, and with a heavy slap, one of them flew out, again. With a move of his right hand, he summoned the dragon Salyer out, and with one hand holding the blade, he rushed towards Wu Haotian. Come again! The War Emperor Realm was a hurdle. Back then, Hong Tianjun was a War Emperor Realm. Long Fei didn't even have the chance to retaliate. Now, it's the War Emperor Realm again. No matter what, he couldn't lose this time. Moonlit Step. As he flew through the air, Long Fei held onto his blade with both of his hands and roared in his heart, Dragon God's fury. Rumble! 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 The dragon Salyer released a series of explosive sounds like an angry dragon god. Huh! Wu Haotian's eyes turned sinister. He sensed the roars from the dragon Salyer. His expression became cold, and he bellowed, War Emperor pressure, get down here! Boom! Without waiting for the dragon spirit killer to be released, the pressure of the War Emperor immediately broke the link between Long Fei's power and the Dragon Salyer's power, and it also instantly interrupted his Dragon Spirit Killer. Bam! Long Fei fell from the sky. He crashed to the ground. Weeping blood in his heart, he shouted, Are you still not his match? Isn't it? Have I not improved at all this past month? Has not become stronger at all? I don't feel good. Bam! Long Fei stood up and stared at Wu Haotian. Again. The dragon Salyer withdrew. His fists moved. Teleport. Shua. Long Fei rushed in front of Wu Haotian and was immediately shaken by the aura of the War Emperor on Wu Haotian's body. Infinite shield. Long Fei released the protective shield. His fists were like hammers smashing towards Wu Haotian. Bang, bang. The infinite shield could block all the attacks of the War Emperor realm, but it could not block the attacks of the War Emperor realm rankers, but it could block the attacks of the War Emperor Qi. 2 punches flew out. It landed on Wu Haotian's chest. 89. His damage was so low that it could barely be described as good. Wu Haotian's eyes became gloomy. Without waiting for Long Fei to jump away, he grabbed onto Long Fei's collar. With his 5 fingers in his palm, he threw out a palm attack. Bam! A force pierced through Long Fei's back, causing his clothes to immediately burst apart. The infinite shield was also instantly destroyed. The power of the War Emperor realm was too terrifying. Not a match. Not a match. Humph. A trash like you is challenging the Xianjian sect. You think you're worthy? Wu Haotian said in disdain, bring out your identity as a disciple of the devil sect. I will give you a complete corpse. I'm talking about your ancestors. Long Fei roared. Again, whoosh released the power of the toting skill, causing Long Fei to rush out like lightning straight into Wu Haotian's chest. At the same time, Wu Haotian's fist sunk down, causing a loud explosion. Bam! Long Fei flew out and laughed. Extermination. Crack. It was the same. It was a low enough damage to make others speechless. This was the difference. The difference in realms. It could instantly kill Wu Haowu, but when facing the War Emperor realm, Wu Haotian couldn't even hit up to 4 digits of damage. What should he do? Was there no other way? Even the Dragon Spirit Killer was suppressed. The Dragon Salyer technique was no good. The toting skill was no good. Mountain hit fist, the divine power in his right arm was even weaker. Strongest upgrade system. Really? Was there really no progress in such a long period of time? Nothing at all. Long Fei's heart was as though it was a deathly still. This old man doesn't believe it. Chapter 28_8419/2356613. He had lost the last time. He had lost the last time. He lost very thoroughly. What a mess. This time, he absolutely could not lose again. Long Fei said as he gnashed his teeth. It was also at this moment the Yan Huang ancestor said, calm down. Kid, what you need right now is calm down. If you continue acting this crazy, you won't even be a match for me. He could feel that Long Fei's mind was filled with the scene of how he was stomped over by Hong Tianjun last time. Long Fei wanted to become strong, with incomparable desire. He was also working hard. However, just like the sand in the palm of your hand, the tighter you grip, the faster it drains. The things on his body are too heavy. Huff. Long Fei let out a heavy breath and said, Ancestor, thank you for your reminder. I will have to take care of the rest myself. Long Fei's heart immediately calmed down. Hong Tianjun was very strong, the #1 genius of the southern domain, but he would become stronger than anyone else. Next, Long Fei looked at Wu Haotian. Phew, phew. His breathing steadied. Wu Haotian said in disdain, what's wrong with you? Just not enough? You're not being arrogant? Isn't he going to challenge the entire Xianjian sect? Aren't you very arrogant? How did you become a dead dog now? Wu Haotian shouted arrogantly. The anger in his heart was slowly burning. Yuan Ling was crying so hard that she couldn't say a word. Niu Dahai was the same. They were well aware that the words Long Fei had said just now were to protect them. However, Ro Shui couldn't help but say, Great Elder, he isn't even a disciple of the devil's sect. Shut up. Without waiting for Ro Shui to finish speaking, Congratulations to player. Immediately shouted
Long
angrily,
Fei,
for leveling up to
Ro
level
Shui,
2. If you continue
what
to
are the
plead on his
peerless
behalf,
attributes?
I'll kill you
Once
too.
it was activated,
Ro
his
Shui was
strength
also angry
would
and
double.
said, This was only the first level. The three senior fellow apprentice, as for Wu Shuang, also came forward and said, "This was the best way to increase attack power in a short period of time. Elder, you can act instant and scrupulously." Long Fei began to laugh elders of our sword pavilion are not people that anyone can bully. Since this mad dog of yours insists that I am a disciple of the devil sect, were enraged. Then I'll let you see my enchantment. While they were talking, as soon as he finished, did not stop. Long Fei moved. He was thinking of a way. Enchanted. In terms of levels, there was no way to level Long Fei's short period of time. Suddenly changed. His attack power in that short moment. Every dragon strand of his body turned from black and was unable to release the dragon spirit killer. Also, what he needed the most now, the aura from his body, was to raise his attack. The devil. This wasn't a disciple of the devil sect. What can I do if my level doesn't change? It was a real devil. Long Fei kept asking himself, eyes stared blankly, at the same time, and instantly began to laugh wildly. Suddenly, Long Fei's eyes lit up. Did you see that? Level +1. Didn't I say this attribute is useless of the devil sect? He has been hesitating all this time to add on some other skill. That Long Fei didn't have the aura of a devil. The idea moved. Long Fei was already a devil. Do you want to upgrade? Anyone could tell that he was a demon. Long Fei didn't have any hesitation. Yuan Ling was shocked, as were all the disciples of the Xianjian sect. Long Fei, transformed into a devil, was simply too handsome. He coldly looked at Wu Haotian and said, "Are you satisfied now?" Wu Haotian laughed. "Ha ha ha. Brat, you're dead for sure." "You're dead for sure?" Long Fei took out the dragon salyer and bit it. The autumn water blade was taken out. The fire knife was taken out. 3 slashes. Long Fei's body sank slightly as 2 pairs of bloody eyes stared at Wu Haotian. Sauron's techniques kept appearing in his mind, and during this period of time, he had been studying Sauron's techniques. Swish! Demonic chi gushed out from Long Fei's body like a bloody mist. The aura suddenly changed. Long Fei's eyes flashed with a sinister light. His demonic voice sounded extremely arrogant. 3 blade attacks. Ghost slash. At the same time, Long Fei roared in his heart, "Level 2 Wushuang, open for me." Rumble. For times the usual strength exploded out, causing Long Fei's body to be unable to withstand the power anymore. Too powerful. For times the stats. Powerful. There was a loud sound from inside his body, and the blood mist from his body rushed out like a storm. The powerful demon, Qi, crushed the entire martial ring. Shua. Kill. With a jolt of his body, a pair of ghostly eyes appeared in the air. 1 step. In an instant, Long Fei directly pierced through Wu Haotian's body. Wu Haotian's body slightly sank. In that instant, he actually, unexpectedly, he couldn't react at all. He's an expert of the War Emperor realm. His reaction couldn't keep up. In the instant that Long Fei flashed past, he felt pain all over his body, as if his body was going to split apart. The clothes on his chest slipped, and 3 long bloody wounds appeared, and spat as if they were the cracks of ghosts and gods. Puffed. Wu Haotian spat out another mouthful of blood, the blood surging out from his wound. A bright red number floated above his head. 3,099,99, high explosive damage. However, this was not enough to instantly kill Wu Haotian. This move, 3 slashes, ghost slash, and even with Long Fei's demon body, it was simply too cool, too handsome. Amazing to the extreme. Long Fei's mouth loosened as the dragon salyer also fell down. Creak. The fire knife's body split open. It could not withstand the impact of the 3 blade attacks. Long Fei's heart secretly tensed up. What a pity! It was Fatty Nyo's weapon, but now it was going to break. Long Fei kept his blade. He turned and coldly said, "Wu Haotian, is this cool?" With 3 million damage, he definitely would be able to fly up into the air. Wu Haotian consecutively swallowed a few medicinal pellets, then clenched both of his fists tightly. The air around him began to emit explosive sounds, and with a grab, a blue ice crystal sword appeared in his hands. Blue Flame Divine Sword, one of the three great holy artifacts of the Xianjian sect. It's actually one of the three great holy artifacts, the Blue Flame Divine Sword. Roshui immediately shouted, "Long Fei, run!" Chapter 38_8419/2356614. This is the third time. This is the third time. You're courting death. Wu Haotian's eyes turned sinister, and a strand of sword qi shot out from his blue fire divine sword. Bam! He directly knocked the soft water flying out. After that, he didn't even look at it. The War Emperor realm was indeed terrifying, but to be able to send a sword pavilion elder flying with just one sword qi, what kind of power was that? The blue flame sword in his hand was too powerful. Wu Haotian turned and stared at Long Fei and said, "You're dead for sure." Using a sword? The corner of Long Fei's mouth slightly rose, revealing a devilish sneer. He looked at Li Yuanba and said, "Yuanba." Yuanba immediately nodded and said, "Understood." He took off the sarcophagus on his back. The sarcophagus shook, and the Xian Ming sword intent shot up into the sky. Long Fei looked at the bloody groove on top of Wu Haotian's head and the glittering golden light on his body. Wu Haotian frowned. "You're courting death." He moved. His body erupted with an incomparable sword intent, and the blue flame divine sword even released a strong holy artifact's might as it crushed Xiang Longfei. The air was like a thunderstorm. The blue-colored energy attacked Xiang Longfei. The surrounding people were all stunned. The power of the blue flame divine sword was too powerful. Longfei is finished. To make him act so arrogantly, it would be strange if he doesn't die this time. Serves him right. The people from the devil's sect deserve to die. Moreover, he is a demon. Grand Elder, kill him in one strike. With the support of two senior fellow apprentices, Ro Shui crawled up. Her face was pale as paper. Looking at Long Fei, her heart tensed up. "We're finished." What a pity, a senior fellow apprentice said. "Junior sister apprentice, he is a demon. He is on two sides of our path. This kid's talent is really incredible, especially that blade technique. Just now, it's invulnerable." Ro Shui looked at Long Fei's motionless appearance and said softly, "There are no demons, gods, humans, Buddha, or evil in this world of the way of the sword." Senior fellow apprentice, I feel that he must have comprehended something before the sword tomb yesterday. This was an intuition, a woman's intuition. The three senior fellow apprentices laughed bitterly. Even if you comprehend to something, it's useless. It's impossible for him to digest everything he comprehends in one day. You and I both know that the things in the sword tomb are too profound. She admitted that Long Fei was not her opponent, but she was a little unwilling in her heart. She always felt that Long Fei winning was like a dream to her. Yuan Ling was already crying hoarsely. "Up till now, I have been suppressing all my tears. No, no, no." "Long Fei, quickly run." Niu Dahai held up his walking stick. He had always wanted to rush up to block this strike for Long Fei, but he crawled up and fell down again, and then crawled back up and fell again. "Boss, that kid is too scared to move." Ha ha ha. Under the pressure of Great Elder and the might of the blue flame's divine sword, how would he dare to move? Ha ha ha. He's definitely going to die. Many disciples shouted excitedly. Wu Haotian yelled in disdain, "Die!" In the blink of an eye, Long Fei made a grabbing motion in the air and lightly shouted, "Xian Ming's sword." Bang, bang, bang. The sarcophagus seemed to have a living person struggling within as it shook violently. Shwa. Whoosh. A gigantic sword flew out and landed in Long Fei's hands. It was a different sword from the one before. Its shape was as black as ink, and both of its blades were as white as snow. There was a sun in the opening of the sword. The hilt of the sword had a moon. This sword had another name, Sun and Moon. The instant Long Fei covered the sun and moon, the Xian Ming sword's aura surged out. Without waiting for Long Fei to make his move first, it went black, and the 100-sword chi directly collided with the blue flame sword chi. In the time it took for a flash of lightning to flash, Long Fei's eyes darkened as he said coldly, "Shocking sword spirit." Shua. The holy sword 81 moves was released. The sword intent of the Sword Saint's legacy was unleashed. At this moment, Long Fei's body was like a sharp sword, with the power to cut through the heavens and the earth, shocking the heavens and the earth. Broken Phantom God. Shua. A sword attack. Break. Below 4 times the peerless attribute, his damage had exploded. Without waiting for Wu Haotian's response, a combined sword intent. Shua. Misty sword intent. Shua. Thunderbolt sword intent. Swish. Tathagata sword intent. Shua. Samsara sword intent. Explode. Long Fei clenched his teeth and roared, sending out a sword slay. Shua. For million damage. Under the buff of 4 times the peerless attribute, his watch had exploded. Long Fei's figure landed, and he stood behind Wu Haotian. He lifted his gaze, swept across the entire audience, and then yelled out with incomparable arrogance, "Motherf asterisk Kerr. Who else?" The entire hall was silent. Not a single sound came out as they all looked at Long Fei with their mouths agape. Their brains were twisting. What just happened? Why did the first elder stand there and not move? What sword technique did this kid use just now? What was going on? He didn't understand. He didn't understand at all. He didn't understand at all. Too fast, too fast. Even Rose Shui and the others did not manage to see clearly what happened. Their mouths were wide open, so wide that a duck's egg could be put inside. They were completely dumbstruck as they looked at Long Fei. Wu Haotian's body was trembling. The system beep continued. The system beep continued. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at War Chief level 7. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward for beheading a sex elder for the first time. Experience points, true chi points, credit point S. War Chief level 7. A God's Devil token dropped. Heavenly Demon Heart Sutra. These. What are they? Long Fei's heart sank and opened up the system to check immediately. Item. God's Devil token description. The condensed heavenly demonic blood essence can be used to summon the heavenly demon sect. Must be found before giving the order. Description 2. This token has the heavenly demon training space. Description 3. God's Devil Spaces cultivation technique can be raised by 1-fold, limited to 2 hours per day. Damn. Order the heavenly demons sect. Then I won't be the lord of the sky demons. Ha! It was great, just good enough. The most satisfying thing was the God's Devil space, double the proficiency. In the future, it would be much easier to cultivate just that. Only the demonic path's cultivation method could be considered peerless. Could it be considered unparalleled? You can use it even if you have been possessed, right? If that's the case, hee. Long Fei laughed excitedly. And then Long Fei looked at another technique. Cultivation method. Heavenly Demon Heart Sutra grade. Demonic God rank description. This cultivation technique was created by the God's Devil ancestor. It contains an unparalleled devil energy, and in an instant it can be converted into a supreme true chi. Description 2. unparalleled demonic chi can be converted into true chi, instantly filling up once every day. Ding. Do you wish to cultivate it? Oh my God. Long Fei was stunned. He instantly said, cultivate. I really need it. System, I love you, just like a mouse. No, I love rice. Don't worry about not having a true chi worth in the future. As long as you have 1,000 points, you will be able to go insane and release the heavenly demon heart scripture. You will be able to instantly restore your true chi and then transform it back to normal before killing again. Ha ha ha. The value of Long Fei's true chi was much higher than that of ordinary war elder rankers. However, his technique skill consumption was too high. Forget about others. Just with the Holy Sword 81 moves, he could only release 30 or so sword attacks. When would he be able to unleash the complete set of sword technique? The true chi's consumption of 10,000 points in a single sword was extremely frightening. Just before he came to the martial arts practice grounds, he had done something he would never want to do again in his entire life. Drink water. Drinking spirit spring water. In God's Fire Hill, he drank an entire 5 vats of spirit spring water to recover his true chi. Don't ask him how he drank it. He didn't even know it. He only knew how to drink. Put it aside. Otherwise, he would not have the true chi at all. Now that he had the Heavenly Demon Heart Sutra, he no longer had to worry about such an embarrassing matter. No true chi? Your father has been possessed and instantly recovers. Again. Awesome. Long Fei's heart was overflowing with joy, and looking at the Space Ring's 1024 spirit stones, he thought to himself, the great clan elder is the great clan elder. He's too rich. Xiao Bai, you're so lucky. Eat as much as you want, ha ha. Xiao Bai had already started eating again. The moment it exploded, he already started eating and did not bother to be polite at all with Long Fei. Ice and Fire also murmured, Master, can I eat it? Long Fei laughed. Eat, since there's so much, as long as I can help you cultivate, you can eat as much as you want. At this time, Yan Huang ancestor also coughed a few times and said, Disciple, Master is currently very weak. Give me some spirit stones to replenish my energy. He sounded as if he was about to die. Long Fei said, You also want spirit stones? Thinking about the scene of Yan Huang ancestor devouring his holy artifact, he said with lingering fear, You can eat, just don't eat my holy artifact. I'm afraid of you. As soon as he finished, the 3 of them were like a Taotai possessing its body as they frantically fought over it and swallowed it. Ding. 90 spirit stones reduced. Ding. The number of spirit stones will be reduced by 100. Ding. You have lost 189 spirit stones. Ding. The system crazily warned him. In less than 10 seconds, more than 1,000 spirit stones had been snatched away. Long Fei was puzzled. The 3 of them burped continuously. Xiao Bai immediately picked his teeth with a face full of satisfaction and said, Today's spirit stones are not bad. They can be considered mid-grade spirit stones. Bing, who also said with a satisfied expression, When can I have a taste of high-grade spirit stones? Xiao Bai said, Master, when can I get you some high-grade spirit stones? More than 1,000 spirit stones. A single pill is worth 1,000,000 silver taels. How much is that? Long Fei counted with his fingers, and his body started to tremble. Xiao Bai asked, Master, what's wrong? Long Fei replied, My liver hurts. Ice Fire said, Did you eat something wrong yesterday? Or were you injured by that old fellow? Just now. Right at this moment, Xiao Bai immediately shrank back and hid in the innermost area of the war pet space. He faked a cute smile and said, Master, I didn't eat too many. I really didn't eat much. You know how small I am. That's enough for me. Just look at my body size, and you can tell that I can eat a lot. I think you ate the most. You ate almost 500 spirit stones by yourself. I only got 500 spirit stones with my ancestor. What? Air. Xiaobai immediately shouted, Ice and fire, you dare slander me. Xiaobai said in all seriousness, it should be, right? Master will definitely be heavily injured this time. If he calls for you later, don't hesitate at all. Immediately rush out. Xiaobai said in all seriousness, it should be, right? Master will definitely be heavily injured this time. If he calls for you later, don't hesitate at all. Immediately rush out. Air. Xiaobai hesitated for a moment, then said, if you want to call me, then you have to rush out. You are a dragon. You should take more responsibility for your master. Binghua nodded seriously and said, understood. His heart was about to break. One foodie was not enough. Right now, there were 3 gluttons. 1 to eat holy artifact, 2 to eat spirit stones. Now, since the holy artifact could not eat it, they could only eat all the spirit stones. Long Fei looked up to the sky, feeling so much pain that he was about to cry. However, Long Fei quickly regained his composure and asked, who else? His gaze swept across the entire audience. Long Fei was very domineering, very arrogant, very arrogant. The tens of thousands of disciples in martial arts arena were all being crushed by him alone. What sword intent was that? Ro Shui could not help but ask, Long Fei, what sword intent do you cultivate? Yuan Ling and Niu Dahai looked at each other in a daze. They had seen Long Fei using different cultivation methods in the Thunder Dragon Temple Secret Realm, but had never seen the sword intent just now. Had he gained some insight in the past few days? Shock. The difference was obvious. Long Fei smiled slightly and said, the sword intent of the devils. Didn't you all say, I am a devil? I naturally cultivate the sword intent of the devil sect, which is much stronger than the sword intent you Xianjian sect cultivators train in. Why? Did you think of a few moves? Long Fei pretended to be full of disdain. The devil note laughed crazily and said, who else? Who else? Suddenly, a sword flew out. Shua. It was a shocking scene. It was also a sharp sword intent. At this moment, a furious roar could be heard. Return my grandfather's life. It's the brother Zhou. The genius of the way of the sword, Zhou Qianyu, has arrived. His understanding of the Tao of the sword has reached a high level. Long Fei's brows twitched and laughed coldly. You're the only one left in the Zhou family. However, Long Fei looked at the dumbstruck Li Yuanba and slightly shouted, Yuanba! Yuan Ling was immediately shocked. Crap. Niu Dahai asked, what's bad? Yuan Ling said, Yuanba. No, his name is Li Yuanba. Now, he is going to be bedeviled too. Niu Dahai was stunned. Yuanba is also a demon? Yuanba said naively, I'm here. Long Fei grinned excitedly. Kill him. The Zhou family owed Yuanba. In his heart, Long Fei was his master, and her words were his orders. Punch, 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 punch. The surrounding disciples were stunned again. Who is this monster? Isn't Zhou Qianyu a genius in the way of the sword? Why is he so weak? Lying on the ground after a single punch? There isn't even room for a backhand. This guy? Aren't they the servants of the Zhou family? How did you become so strong now? Crazy. This world is going crazy. Genius of the sword Tao. Now, it had become a piece of shit in the way of the sword. Zhou Qianyu laid in the pool of blood like a dead dog. Li Yuanba punched out and looked at him. If you're still breathing and you're not dead, then I'll continue firing. With that, he punched out. After throwing a few punches, he took a glance at it. Hey, he's not dead yet. His arteries are still beating. It looks like I have to continue. He was completely dumbfounded. However, At this moment, no one dared to laugh at him. No one dared to say anything about him being a dog slave or a dog slave. No one dared to say anything about it, because at this moment it was Li Yuanba's exclusive time. Long Fei's face was full of pride. The more he liked this Luby, the stronger he was. The silly expression on his face was simply too adorable. The Yan Huang ancestor said slightly, "If you can activate all the giant spirit blood vein in Luby's body, he will become even more powerful. Just you wait." Floating life. Table of contents. No windows? A++. Ha. At this moment, Li Yuanba got up, looked at Long Fei, and said, "Boss, that was my last punch. Do you still have anything else to say?" Long Fei laughed faintly and said, "Blast him to death." Chapter 6. 8_8419/2356617. Tianyu, the white-browed elder, pulled Zhou Tianyu out from the boulder, but he no longer had any signs of life. "Why didn't I tell you to stop?" The white-browed elder was enraged. Li Yuanba naively asked, "Who are you?" "I won't listen to you. I'll only listen to my boss." Ro Shui stepped forward slightly and said, "Second elder, Yuanba, he—" The white-browed elder shouted, "Shut your mouth." Xianjian Peak was affected by these two disciples, and the 3 elders are dead. You 4 elders of the Sword Pavilion must take responsibility for this. Let's talk about your matters later. Now, as the white-browed elder finished speaking, his eyes darkened, staring at Li Yuanba, who was releasing the true divine spirit chi on his body. He suddenly shouted, "Let's see if your true divine spirit force is stronger than my flying sword." Break! The white-browed elder turned malevolent, releasing a powerful aura from his body. Crack! Crack! The supreme force on Li Yuanba's body started to crack and quickly shattered. Li Yuanba suddenly flew out and stood 10 meters away. His fist sank as he stood there like a chimpanzee with veins popping all over his entire body. The 3 flying swords stabbed forward once again. At the same time, a new supreme force condensed on his body. Once again firmly blocking the 3 flying swords, Li Yuanba arrogantly snorted and said, "My supreme force is still the strongest." A air shield with supreme force that was twice as strong as before. It was all a mess. The white-browed elder was shocked in his heart, but his rage was boiling as he shouted, "Impudent!" The 3 flying swords retracted. The white-browed elder locked onto a spot, and the 3 flying swords rushed into the sky, instantly appearing behind Li Yuanba and thrusting forward. Long Fei shouted loudly, "Yuanba, be careful!" Hiss, hiss, hiss. The 3 swords stabbed down. Li Yuanba then spat out a mouthful of blood, stared at the white-browed elder, and said, "You are being shameless." He had thought that the white-browed elder would still try to attack him from the front, but he did not expect the 3 flying swords to launch a sneak attack. Li Yuanba's current IQ was only that of a 7- or 8-year-old child. How could he know the viciousness of the human heart? The white-browed elder laughed coldly. "You dog slave, this is not called cheating. This is called seeing through your weakness. Do you understand? You are just an idiot to care about the defense in front of you and not care about the defenses behind you." Li Yuanba was a little unhappy. He looked at Long Fei and said, "Boss, he called me a dog slave." Long Fei asked, "What did I tell you just now?" "Blast him to death," Li Yuanba said. Then he said, "Boss, his sword is too powerful. I am not his match with my bare hands. Can I use my weapon?" The surrounding crowd was dumbfounded once again. Is this Luby a fool? A brainless person? You need someone else's permission to use a weapon? What was going on? Long Fei nodded and said, "Sure." Yuan Ling's eyes darkened. His body relaxed as he muttered, "There's no more chances. There's no turning back at all." Niodahai did not understand and asked, "Can you tell me what exactly happened in the Zhou family? What happened to Yuan Ba?" Yuan Ling laughed bitterly. "Look for yourself." All he saw was Li Yuanba stared fiercely at the white-browed old man and said, "I'm going to use my weapon now. I'm going to blast you to death. Be careful." Finished. Two black hammers appeared in Li Yuanba's hands. A pair of giant hammers covered in lightning. Thunderclap. Clenching his fists, the aura on Li Yuanba's body abruptly changed, as if the aura on his body was linked to the gigantic hammer in his hand. Demonic energy. The devilish chi spread out like wildfire. It was incomparably thick. Everyone in martial arts arena could feel it. In that instant, he's also a disciple of the devil sect. Oh God, no wonder. He's also from the demon race. Kill him. Long Fei is a demon. He is also a demon. I never thought that for so many years, the Zhou family had always had a demon. Li Yuanba moved both his hammers and shouted, "I'm coming!" Without waiting for the white-browed old man to react, he took a step forward. The twin thunder hammers moved, and thunder rumbled around him as it burst forth. The three flying swords went up to block. Clang! They were all broken. The white-browed elder released his war master chi. The hammer was broken. The power of thunder directly burnt the white-browed old man's face. Even the two white-browed old men were burnt. Baidu's sister-in-law, a half. Floating Life, strongest upgrade system, however. This was just the beginning. Li Yuanba said naively, "I want to smash you." Chapter 7. The 7 chapters of the promise were completed. Please give us your monthly tickets. 8_8419/2356618. Bam! Bam! I told you to stab me with your flying sword. Bam! I told you to be shameless. Bam! Who told you to be so arrogant? Bang! 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 The furious lightning in Li Yuanba's hand struck from the left and from the right, causing the white-browed elder to have no room to retaliate. Moreover, each hammer strike carried with it the power of lightning and a dense demonic aura. He crushed them with brute force. They were beating the white-browed elder until he didn't have the slightest temper. Will they sneak attack me? Will he even scold me? Li Yuanba said a few words, and then another wave of explosions. I'll blast you to death. I'll blast you to death. I'll blast you to death. The entire audience was stunned once again. This Luby usually did not reveal anything, but now this power was too terrifying, especially the pair of lightning hammers in his hands. Long Fei laughed, laughing as though he was a fool who had seen a treasure. He was extremely happy. Indeed, was his treasure. 8 King Kong systems. He was a holy King Kong. In the future, there would be 7 great Vajra waiting for him. If he gathered these 8 people, then the lineup in the future would be too good. Suddenly, on the other side of Xianjian Peak, several figures were rushing towards him. A very powerful aura attacked. Long Fei's mind went cold. Damn, the old monsters have all come out. Retreat. He made a prompt decision, without any hesitation. Long Fei took a step in front of Rou Shui, the corners of his mouth curled up, revealing a godlike smile. He passed the blue flame's divine sword to her, casually gave the cracked fire knife to her, and said, "These trashy things are basically in my eyes. You can have it." Not waiting for Rou Shui to refuse. Long Fei had already arrived at Li Yuanba's side, pulled him back, and said, "Enough, enough." Li Yuanba said, "Boss, I haven't killed him yet." Long Fei laughed. "Forget it, on my account, spare his life." Li Yuanba's brain was in a mess. He ruthlessly kicked the white-browed elder and cursed, "If it wasn't for my big brother's face, I would definitely have killed you. Don't be too arrogant in the future, otherwise, hee hee." Abbot Whitebrow, was already 70 or 80 years old. After being taught a lesson by a junior, he no longer had any face left. Ice and fire. Rumble. Instantly, ice and fire flew out from the space between the mounts and roared. The dragon roar wreaked havoc throughout the entire training field. Master, I'm here. Do you want to burn these people? You hateful humans, you actually injured my master's liver. I will definitely not let you off easily. Longface slapped him and scolded. Stop being cocky, hurry up and leave. If you don't, it'll be too late. He was no fool to challenge the entire Xianjian peak. These words were also aimed at Great Elder Wu Haotian. Xianjian Peak had stood tall for more than 100,000 years. It was impossible for him to survive with just the cultivation of a small war chief realm. There were naturally many experts in the War Emperor realm. There were even stronger experts. If he didn't leave now, he really wouldn't be able to make it out alive. If he were to act tough, it would be more than enough. However, if he acted big, then he would be in for it. Binghua said innocently, Master, don't you have liver pain? Long Fei. Xiao Bai rolled on the ground while laughing. Ha ha ha. Li Yuanba put the sarcophagus back on his back and ran to Long Fei's side in large strides, saying, Boss, it's done. Long Fei said, Go up. Yes, sir. Long Fei also took the opportunity to fly onto Ice and Fire's back and said, Ice and Fire, take out your strongest speed. If you can't escape, not only will my liver hurt, I'll also kill you. Huh. The flames and ice trembled as they spread out their wings. Master, please sit properly. Shua. He flapped his wings and soared into the sky. He let out a dragon's roar and disappeared in a flash. Yuan Ling looked at Long Fei. Niu Dahai looked at Long Fei. At the last moment, Long Fei sent a sound transmission to Ro Shui, please take care of the two of them. God's fire hill will make an unexpected discovery. Tell them, if fate wills it, we will meet again. Ro Shui also raised her head to look at Long Fei. Her heart was filled with regret, if not for Wu Haotian, if not for Qin Lihu, if not for the Zhou family or other morons. Long Fei would have become a disciple of Xianjian sect, and the pressure on Xianjian sect to fight against Chao Tian sect would have been reduced by a lot. What a pity. Sigh. Ro Shui heaved a long sigh. We missed out on a level genius. An elder behind him said. 2. Another person said, they are all devils. It's impossible for them to join the Xianjian sect. Ro Shui bitterly laughed and said, they are demons and they were forced by the Xianjian sect. We were wrong. It's rare to meet such a genius. In the future, Xianjian Peak. Sigh. Right. Junior sister apprentice, what did he say to you in the end? An elder asked. Ro Shui hesitated for half a second before replying, nothing. She didn't say it. It was not that they didn't trust the 3 senior fellow apprentices, but this was a secret that Long Fei had specifically left for Yuan Ling and Niu Dahai. Moreover, Long Fei returning one of the 3 great holy artifacts, the Blue Flames Divine Sword, to Xianjian sect was something she had never expected. She had to keep all of this a secret, for Long Fei even more. In his heart, he was also thinking, what unexpected things does God's fire hill have? On the back of the fire and ice. Looking at the 100,000 sword mountains, looking at the Xianjian peak, who was getting further and further away from the bridge, looking at Yuan Ling, who was crying his eyes out, and looking at the dumbstruck Niu Dahai, Long Fei smiled faintly. If fate wills it, we will meet again. At this moment, Long Fei was in a great mood and couldn't help but sing a song. With a laugh from Songhai, the waters on both sides of the river billowed. To float and float along with the waves, I will remember this day. The heavens are laughing, the world is surging. Who wins and who loses will be known by the heavens. They sang along the way. Sing along the way. Li Yuanba sat down beside the sarcophagus and listened quietly. He was ignorant and admired Long Fei even more. Besides, being able to sing such a thing that he had never known about before, the concept that was being emitted from Long Fei's body made him a little muddle-headed and confused. Yan Huang ancestor was intoxicated by it too. He followed suit lightly and praised in his heart, "Good boy, you actually know the music. If you can change the song into a sonic attack and even use a magic guqin, I'm afraid. 1,000 miles away from here, killing people without even realizing it. Hee hee. Next time when I have the chance, I must let him practice a set of the devil arts of music." Too excited, the lyrics sung by Long Fei shocked him too much. He was very happy, very free, and unfettered. Everyone is different. Binghua asked, "Master, where are we going?" Long Fei said, "Find a town to land." He had to find a city and see if there were any auction houses or things like that, or at the very least, where he had to find the origin of this item. The fact that even the dragon spirit killer would be interrupted caused Long Fei to feel unhappy in his heart. At the same time, he understood the importance of dragon cellular leveling up. Chapter 18_8419/2356619. Dragon cellular must be upgraded. Dragon cellular must be upgraded. This was a must. In another place, Xianjian sect, it was a mess, and all the outer sect disciples looked like frosted eggplants, listless. It was all because of Long Fei. He was the one who stepped these official disciples into the mud, making them feel as if they couldn't get up. For elders of the Sword Pavilion, from today onwards, you will abrogate the status of the 4 elders of your Sword Pavilion and become outer sect elders. If you are unable to revive the outer sect within 2 years, I will definitely drive you out of Xianjian sect. Do you understand? Rou Shui immediately stepped forward and said, "Disciple accepts your punishment." The other 3 senior fellow apprentices also said, "Thank you." They did not care where they were as long as they were still in Xianjian sect, whether it was in the outer sect or the inner sect, they would be able to study the sword techniques. And then the sect master looked at Yuan Ling and let out a heavy sigh. Then he said, "Pass my order. Xianjian sect is to cultivate in seclusion within the mountains. No one is to be allowed to private with the Xianjian sect within 2 years. At the same time, the annual selection will be stopped. We still have less than 3 years. It hasn't even been 3 years." His heart was filled with anxiety. Of the Heaven sect is getting stronger and stronger, but our Xianjian sect is. Wu Haotian is indeed too presumptuous to even dare to steal his sect master's order. However, the death of a war emperor realm ranker was too big of a blow to the many Xianjian sect. 3 years from now, on the first day of the new year, it will be a grand assembly. At that time, what did the Xianjian sect take out to resist the pressure of the Heaven sect? What disciple could possibly withstand Hong Tianjuan's might? No, as the head of Xianjian sect, his heart was more anxious than anyone else. He had to make a decision. In the 2 years after closing the mountain, all the disciples focused on cultivation. 3 years later, the Heavenly Great Assembly hoped that as long as they didn't lose too unsightly, it would be enough. The crowd dispersed. Yuan Ling supported Niu Dahai back to the God's Fire Hill. Now, everyone in the outer sect of the Xianjian sect despised them, excluded them, and hated them. They blamed the 2 of them for everything. If they did not bring Long Fei to the Xianjian sect, the Xianjian sect would not have become like this. Yuan Ling was completely focused on his journey. Niu Dahai's eyes were also lifeless. They felt like they were in a dream, Everything was fine a few days ago, but now, only the two of them were left. Moreover, Long Fei was actually a demon, and Yuan Ba was also a demon. This, Sai. When they returned to the artifact forging hall, they found a single person waiting for them. Soft water. Ro Shui looked at the two of them and said, "From today onwards, the two of you will be my disciples. I will help you transform and soar in 2 years." Yuan Ling shivered. Niudahai also looked at Ro Shui, dumbstruck. "Elder Ro Shui, this." Ro Shui said indifferently, "Don't ask these questions. Do you still want to see Long Fei?" Yuan Ling's head was like a chick pecking at rice. He quickly nodded and said, I want to very much." Ro Shui said, "If you want, then go all out with me to cultivate and bring out your most powerful potential. Because I just found out. His name is Long Fei. He is from Fireglass City. He has less than 3 years to go to the Heaven Sect. Snatch the marriage." Finally, she said it anyway. It was not difficult for the Xianjian sect to investigate this. Niudahai asked, "Whose marriage are you snatching?" Ro Shui still did not hide anything and said, "Hong Tianjun." Ha ha ha. Niudahai instantly laughed. "This is what you call boss. This is what you call him. Awesome, this is too awesome." "Boss, I believe that you can definitely trample Hong Tianjun to death." Ha ha. Instantly, he grew excited. He didn't know why, but he was excited. Ro Shui said slightly, "Just being happy is useless. Long Fei is Long Fei. You are all of you. If you want to go to the Heaven Sect, then focus on your cultivation. And within 2 years you will become the strongest disciple in Xianjian sect, because that is the only way to have the qualifications to participate in the Great Heaven Assembly. Understand?" "Understood. Understood." The two of them said in unison. Ro Shui said with satisfaction, "Very good. Also, there is one more thing I want to tell you all. God's Fire Hill has an unexpected good thing. And I do not know what it is. It was said by Long Fei. If you guys want to look for it, you should be able to help cultivate." "Good stuff. In this God's Fire Hill." Niudahai scratched his head, puzzled. Ro Shui said, "I will give you 2 a day to rest and search. Starting from tomorrow, the 2 of you will come to the Sword Tomb to start cultivating." "Yes, sir." Ro Shui walked to the side of a cliff, looked at the sky, and muttered, "Long Fei, this is the only thing I can do for you." Good luck. She had chosen her own God's Fire Hill. She wanted to help Long Fei. Furthermore, Yuan Ling and Niudahai indeed have a certain amount of potential. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. Master, it's time." The fire and ice could not hold on for much longer. 6 hours. This was a full 2 hours more than before. Without a doubt, his fire and ice had also leveled up. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for him to last this long. Long Fei said, "Just find a place and put us down." 100 kilometers ahead was a huge city. There should be an auction. Swish, and Li Yuanba jumped down, and the fire and ice returned to the war pet space. "Yuan Ba, we will go our own way." Long Fei was naturally clear that he was speechless towards the 3 of them, especially towards the Yan Huang ancestor. He also knew that he couldn't take it out either. Long Fei was naturally clear that he was speechless towards the 3 of them, especially towards the Yan Huang ancestor. He also knew that he couldn't take it out either. He couldn't stop it even if he wanted to. His space ring was like their back garden. If you want to enter, go ahead. If you want to eat, eat. He was truly miserable. Long Fei said slightly, "The Blue Flame's divine sword is one of Xianjian sect's 3 great holy artifact. If I take it away, do you think the Xianjian sect will let me go? I'm giving it to Ro Shui. She must have thought of helping me take care of Niudahai and Yuan Ling due to our friendship. This is also the last thing I did to them. right? Sigh. A intimacy of 90 points. Long Fei said bitterly, I have already reached the point where I can do whatever I want, but I just can't. What a lifetime of virginity. The two of them walked for a while. Li Yuanba silently followed, and didn't speak during the entire journey either. If Long Fei didn't ask, he wouldn't have said it. Why is it that the further I go, the weirder it becomes? Look at this area. Suddenly, without waiting for Long Fei to speak, dozens of sturdy men jumped out and placed a steel blade on Long Fei's neck. I am the one driving this road. I am the one who planted this tree. We will pass through and leave to buy money. Ha ha ha. Big brother, there are two more brats. One can tell that they are rich people. Today, they can be considered to have made a huge profit. One of the henchmen laughed. Long Fei looked around him. There were traces of a battle, and people were caught in front of them. Huh. Why is there such a person carrying a coffin? What F** king bad luck? A brawny man cursed. Long Fei laughed blandly. I don't have the money. Do you want to die? There really wasn't any money. Now, Long Fei didn't have a single cent. The muscular man said, we don't care about our lives. Oh, since you want to die, then... Long Fei raised his eyes. A chill ran down his forehead, and he said faintly, Yuan Ba, cripple them all. Yes, sir. Yuan Ba made a move with the sarcophagus on his back, and with a single punch, all the big men around him fell. Less than half a minute. Finally, the legs of the bandit that was holding onto a steel blade on Long Fei's neck trembled, and he said, Don't come near me. Don't come near me. I will die. I will die. Long Fei muttered, If you want to die, say it earlier. I asked all of you just now, is your lives on the line? You said no, since you don't want to. Before Long Fei could finish his sentence, his body moved and struck the chest of the bandit with the steel blade. Bam. One punch kill. You dare to place your blade on this young master's neck? You're courting death. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for defeating Swan Mountain bandits for obtaining 400 EXP, 600 True Chi, and 10 energy values. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the quest. Mission: Purge and exterminate the bandits of Yandao Mountain. Level B. Reward: 50,000 experience points, 8,000 True Chi points, 1,000 points, 1,000 silver. Huh. There's actually a small mission? If that's the case. Long Fei's figure moved, continuously killing, fist after fist, all of them being instantly killed. Finally, he stood in front of a small fry. That lackey was so scared that he couldn't control himself. His face was pale as he said, Don't kill me! Don't kill me! I want to die. I want to die. Yen Dashin, the boss is my godfather. If you dare to kill me, he will definitely not forgive you. Long Fei smiled, lightly. I assume you're a godfather? Perfect. Step forward and lead the way. I have something to discuss with your godfather. Long Fei kicked the small fry Luo as he shouted, Hurry! Since it was a mission, it had to be completed. 50,000 experience points was also an experience point. He did not have much time, and 3 years of time quickly passed by. Before that, he had to break through the War Emperor realm, and it would be best if he could use the War God realm. He wanted to crush Hung Tianjun to his knees and sing the Song of Conquest. Seeing that Long Fei did not want to kill him, the lackey Luo immediately crawled up and said, I'll lead the way, I'll lead the way. The little guy rolled his eyes as he thought to himself, Brat, just wait for your death. On the way up the Swallow Mountain, Long Fei asked, How about being a bandit's harvest? The little minion Luo said, Not bad. This is the only path to Tianyun City, so our days are not too bad. Just before you, we captured a caravan and made a huge profit. It's not that I'm bragging. Our boss is an expert of the War Master Ream. Long Fei asked, "Weren't you your godfather?" The small fry Luo immediately changed his words. "That's right, that's my godfather. My godfather is so powerful, he doesn't even put the experts of the War Emperor realm in his eyes." "Brat." "No, hero, if you let me go, I will never tell my godfather about it. I swear." Long Fei laughed. "Didn't I not kill you?" Swallow Mountain, the Convergence Hall. Great Master Lu Niushan, seated on the tiger chair. He stared at an elder and a girl in the hall with a lewd smile on his face. "That chick is really pretty." One of the lackeys said, "Boss, this is something we reserved especially for you. It's for you to enjoy." Lu Niushan laughed heartily and said, "Not bad. There are heavy rewards." The old man said, "Slightly. Do you know my merchant union? You even dare to intercept the goods of the Sea Heaven Merchant Group. Have you thought about the consequences?" Lu Niushan laughed out loud. "The thing that lousy is snatching from your High Tian Merchant Union. Humph. Old man, you have a good item in your goods this time, right? Hand it over honestly." The old man's heart was cold as he thought, how did he know? Who is targeting the Sea Heaven Merchant Union? He didn't need to think to know. There must be someone who leaked this information and would investigate it when he got back. However, could they still go back? He had taken the risk this time in order to avoid another group of people. Even the mercenary company he had hired was only D-level. The reason why he did so was to deceive others. To think that, in the end, he was robbed by the bandits of Swallow Mountain. He originally wanted the bandits of Swallow Mountain to give him a big sum of money, but now, the elder slightly said, "Boss Lu, this lady has nothing to do with this matter. She is just a mercenary. If you can let her go, I am willing to spend 100,000 taels of silver." "Ha ha! 100,000 silver. Old man, do you really think I'm stupid? You know who she is?" Lu Niushan laughed in disdain, looked at the young lady, and said, "She is the daughter of the Tianyun city's master, Wang Shiyun." The girl's eyebrows tightened, and she immediately yelled, "You actually know my identity. Then why aren't you letting me go? You should be very clear about my dad's temper." Lu Niushan laughed out loud and said, "Because I know your identity, I shouldn't have allowed you to leave. Tianyun City Lord, to become my father-in-law in the future. How beautiful will that be? Ha ha ha." Wang Shiyun's eyes turned sinister, and he bellowed, "You—" It was also at this time that a shout sounded from outside the hall. "Dad, save me!" Chapter 38_8419/2356621. "Godfather! Godfather! Whose name is Godfather?" Lu Niushan was startled. "Who the F***K is this?" Suddenly, one of the lackeys ran up and said, "Big boss. No. There's a big guy carrying you a huge coffin. I think that coffin was precisely made with your own body." Lu Niushan was immediately enraged. "From what I see, he must have eaten the heart of a bear to have such guts, to dare come to my Swallow Mountain and behave so atrociously." Immediately, Lu Niushan shouted, "Keep these two under strict supervision. Wait for me to come back. We will first cut open that girl's bud. Tomorrow, I will bring the two of you to Tianyun City with me to carry the betrothal gift." Ha! Wang Shiyun's expression changed, and his body started to tremble uncontrollably. She regretted it now. They shouldn't have formed some mercenary group. It was all because those people were too weak. She thought that she could safely complete the lowest level mission, but how could she have imagined that she would encounter bandits? The old man looked at her and asked, Are you really the daughter of the Tianyun city's lord? Wang Shuyun nodded. Uncle, you definitely have a way, right? Save me. I don't want to marry that fat pig. Please. The old man's forehead sank, feeling that this matter was definitely suspicious. There was indeed something very important in the goods he was going to transport, but only a few people knew about this. Someone must have sold it out. Moreover, these people were deliberately and meticulously, constantly staring at them. Even the mercenary company that they had hired knew clearly that Wang Shuyun was the daughter of the Tianyun city lord. Otherwise, based on Lu Niushan's knowledge, he wouldn't have known at all. The elder said lightly, "Don't be afraid, there will be a way. The people of the Sea Heaven Merchant Union will definitely come back to save us." The old man comforted her. He knew in his heart that they were doomed. If they obtained that item, they would die. Their victims would never leave them alive. Outside the hall, Long Fei and Li Yuanba stood there. That small fry Luo had already fallen into a pool of blood. Since it was a quest, and he had the experience, he couldn't let it go. Lu Niushan's eyes became angry, and he sneered, "A mere trash of the war chief realm dares to come here and behave atrociously. Do you know what kind of place this is?" Long Fei replied, "I know. It was very casual, very plain." Lu Niushan said, angrily, "Do you know where this place is and why you still dare to come here? Looks like if I don't teach you a lesson today, you would think that I, Lu Niushan, am a vegetarian." He actually sent a coffin to me. Damn it. Very unhappy. He really thought that the coffin on Li Yuanba's back was given to him. The holy artifact. Give it to him. You're thinking too much. Long Fei was startled, then said with a grin, "All of you come at me together. After finishing my work, I'm still hungry, and when it's still early, I can still rush to Tianyun City to eat dinner." Immediately, Lu Niushan roared, the executioner's blade in his hand hacked down. "I think you are tired of living." Boom! The aura of the War Master was released. The pressure had crushed Xiang Longfei's mind. As expected, little minion Luo did not lie to him. The boss is indeed an expert of the War Master Ream, but is the War Master Ream a hair's breadth now? Long Fei did not want to waste time either. His hands sank. Boom! Teleport! Shwa! It instantly appeared behind Lu Niushan. Mountain hit fist. Bang, bang! With two punches, Lu Niushan was pushed tens of meters away. Moonlit step. One step into the air. Another two punches landed. Bang, bang. The two punches caused Lu Niushan to lie prone on the ground. Long Fei landed on the ground and moved both of his fists once again, splitting pulse technique. The strength of the earth violent bear exploded and directly sent the hundreds of kilograms heavy Lu Niushan flying. With a clench of his right hand, he summoned the dragon Salyer out. Dragon chop, whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk. The saber flashed like lightning as it danced wildly. Lu Niushan's body was chopped down piece by piece. A big fatty turned into a skinny guy who was dripping with blood while still alive. He stood on the ground swaying around, stared at Long Fei, and asked, "Who are you?" Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "The person who killed you." Lu Niushan was incomparably furious and said, "Do you know the consequences of killing me?" "Brat, you've offended someone you shouldn't have. Prepare to go to hell. F***CK. Why do you always say that?" Long Fei disdainfully said. "Generally, those who say such words only have one result. Die." As the sound of his voice faded, a blade slashed down. Bam. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing, Lu Niushan for gaining EXP True Chi 200, energy values 10 points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 102 Spirit Stones. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Swallow Blade. Congratulations to player Long Fei. Yen Huang Ancestor did not even spare a glance for the trash that dropped. Long Fei also exchanged for points. Points were very important right now. If he could exchange for the lottery system, then he still had a free lottery system, which he had yet to use. In the future, he would accumulate more. Things can be exchanged for points. But when Long Fei felt the sound of Shao Bai, ice and fire, and the Yen Huang ancestor swallowing his saliva, he immediately shouted, "If anyone dares to eat my spirit stones again, I'll cut their throats." Huh. Master, I'm training. Master, I'm training as well. As a person, what I hate the most are spirit stones. Long Fei took care of all three of them, then slightly lifted his gaze, looked at the bandits around him, and said indifferently, "Who else?" Just one question. Who else? The crowd was dumbfounded, their faces pale. The great master of the War Master Ream was instantly killed. They were not his match at all. Immediately, everyone pleaded for mercy. "Hero, please spare our lives." "Spare us." Long Fei glanced at Yuan Ba and said, "Yuan Ba, the old rules cripple them all." Yuan Ba naively nodded and said, "Understood." The mission was not completed yet, so these people naturally could not be let off. Moreover, these people were not good people. They were all bandits who would kill without blinking an eye, who knew how many people they had harmed. Long Fei naturally would not be merciful towards these people. Bam! 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 Li Yuanba flew up. Long Fei was also going to let him play by himself. It would be fine if he came back later to harvest more. As he walked into the Jui Hall, a few lackeys rushed up, and with just 2 punches, Long Fei was able to finish them off. He looked at the 2 people in the hall and asked, "Are you the 2 that were captured just now?" Lun Yoshan was instantly seen by the old man. Long Fei was very strong. His heart stirred. Maybe. While they were talking, the elder took a step forward. "Hero, can you help this old one?" Long Fei immediately said, "No. This kind of thing cannot be casually agreed upon. He only came to complete the mission as a soy sauce. Carrot, half, /float*, life." The old man clenched his teeth. He did not care anymore. "If you can help me, I will give you a magic Buddhist relics." Magic Buddhist relics? Chapter 4. In the evening, there was another chapter that was updated. This week, there were 5 chapters every day. The end of the year was approaching, and there were too many things happening. If it could, the ocean would be dying to write 24 hours a day, 8_8419/2356622. Magic Buddhist relics. Magic Buddhist relics? Long Fei was shocked. Yen Huang ancestor immediately said, "Good stuff." It was also at this moment. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the quest. Mission: protect the Sariras of Sea Devil Emperor. Level S. Time 3 months. Reward 1,000 experience points, 100,000 true chi, 10,000 points. Any S rank reward will be rewarded. Do you accept? Long Fei looked at the old man, pretending to be calm, and asked, "Magic Buddhist relics. This is not an ordinary thing. Are you sure you want to give it to me as compensation?" The quest had to be accepted, but it had to be done at a very high level. The old man nodded his head. "I am sure I will tell you the truth. The thing that I am going to deliver this time is very important to us. Sea Devil Emperor Magic Buddhist relics is just one of them. If you can help me escort him safely to Sea Devil Emperor, I will definitely give you the Magic Buddhist relics." Sea Heaven Merchant Union, the merchant union of the forces of the Devil Sect. Although he wasn't as strong as the Fengyuan Merchant Union, he was still the strongest in the South Horizon region. Moreover, many of the devil sex items were shipped by the Sea Heaven Merchant Union. The corner of Long Fei's mouth drew back, and he smiled. Aren't you afraid that I'll kill you and take away all your things? The elder laughed. In this world, only I can open the box. Only I know what's inside. If you kill me, you won't get anything. Long Fei also smiled slightly and said, I promise you. Ding. Accept. In the system, a quest appeared. Long Fei glanced at Wang Shiyun and asked, What about her? The old man did not abandon Wang Shiyun. On the way, the little girl was very dutiful, and all the members of her mercenary group died. The old man said, Little girl, just follow us to the Tianyun city. Once we reach there, no one would dare to hurt you. Wang Shiyun nodded and said, Thank you, Senior, but... Senior, I will definitely complete the mission that I have accepted. I will definitely send you to the Sea Devil Emperor. This is my principle. Actually, she also wanted to know what kind of magic box the old man was talking about. The quest had already surpassed the level of her mercenary group, so if she could complete it, she would definitely be able to attract a lot of attention. Long Fei did not care, and said, It doesn't matter if there's one more person. Let's go. Long Fei turned around and walked out of the Huai Hall and stood at the main entrance. At this time, Yuan Ba had already destroyed everyone present and stacked them together like an R-hut. Li Yuanba said naively, Boss, they are all crippled. Long Fei laughed. Very good. Don't kill me, don't kill me. We don't know anything. Hero, spare me. Please. Long Fei grinned and said, If I don't kill you guys, how would I complete the mission? Before he could finish, the blood blade chi from the dragon salyer in Long Fei's hands slashed out, instantly killing all of them. Ding, ding, ding. The system beep kept on ringing. The mission was completed. In order to prevent the news from getting out, these people had to die. On the surface, Long Fei looked like he did not care about the S-level mission, but in his heart, he was being extremely cautious. On the way, Long Fei asked, Why don't you get some experts to escort such a precious thing? The old man did not hide anything. We also did not expect to meet bandits. How could we have expected that this Yanaro bandit was actually an expert of the war master ream? He did not say that they were only trying to keep a low profile. He also didn't say that someone inside him had betrayed them. The old man was worried that Long Fei would refuse to protect them after he said all this. Wang Shiyun looked at Long Fei and said, Hero, can you join my mercenary group? Huh. Long Fei glanced at Wang Shiyun. She looked good, but she was still. But that was only not bad. He was used to seeing Jojo's purity and cuteness, the wild leopard girl, Lu Luashi's gentleness and coldness, so the feeling he got from meeting other women wasn't bad. He said, Is there anything good about it? Benefits. We can accept missions in the mercenary guild, earn points, and raise the level of the mercenary groups. My goal is to raise the number of mercenary groups to the King's Realm, and there are only 10 of them in the entire Tianwu continent. Think about it. When we become the 11th mercenary group, how cool would that be? Think about that scene. Are you excited? Wang Shiyun was extremely excited, as if he was about to become the King's mercenary group's leader. Long Fei looked at her, blankly shook his head, and said, No, not interested at all. What king? I'm a bronze 6. You have me? Wang Shiyun was so excited when she heard this, but her heart had been poured cold water over it. Her heart was in a mess, and in an instant, she looked like an eggplant that had been beaten up. The old man looked at Long Fei seriously and asked, Are you a disciple of the sect? Long Fei shook his head and said, No, I am a rogue cultivator. Is that so? Then why haven't you thought of joining a mercenary group? The old man asked curiously. Under normal circumstances, Warriors who didn't join the sect would choose to join a mercenary group, accepting quests, earning money, exploring, and leveling up the mercenaries. If he received some secret realm missions, he might be able to gain some wealth. If he obtained some spiritual treasure, he might be able to soar into the sky. Wang Shiyun refused to give up and said, "That's right, you should join my mercenary group." Long Fei joked, "The wind is blowing and the water is flowing? Your teammates are all dead, so they don't have any chance to make a comeback." Wang Shiyun shriveled up again. There was no way he wouldn't get beaten up by Long Fei. The old man was a bit guilty. "This is all my fault. It's my lowest level mission." Long Fei was startled. He did not notice anything else but the mission. He immediately asked, "Can the mercenary companies assign any missions?" The old man replied, "Of course you can. As long as you have the points, you can assign the mission. The mission's reward, difficulty, and time limit are all up to you." Mercenary points. Long Fei's heart trembled and asked, "How do I earn mercenary points?" Wang Shiyun seemed to have seen a glimmer of hope and immediately stepped forward, saying, "Once the mission is completed, there will be a reward of mercenary points. This is the only way to earn mercenary points." The elder nodded. "As well, the points that I used for my mission is the points from the inner sect of the Merchant Union." Wang Shiyun immediately giggled. "How is it? Join my mercenary group. I'll definitely bring you to the king's realm." Wang Shiyun looked at Long Fei excitedly. Table of contents, he thought to himself. As long as I can pull him into my mercenary group, his strength will increase by leaps and bounds. When that happens, Long Fei asked, "What is the name of your mercenary group?" Wang Shiyun said proudly, "The Strongest King." Chapter 5 was sent over. This week, I will try my best to ensure that there are 5 chapters updated every day, because outside of work, all kinds of marriages and drinks, all kinds of relatives will meet. The time at sea is really limited. 8_8419/2356623. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.